Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Comfort Food. Today, I have the pleasure of bringing on a very special guest, one of my future groomsmen, an amazing friend of mine, Thomas Nguyen. He is a freelance photographer for many fields, including weddings. He's also shot real estate in the past for videography. He currently is a graduate student at GWU for digital media, and kind of feeding into that, he does social media marketing management for restaurants that he works with. I'm super stoked to have him in this food episode. Him and I share a lot of the same immaculate vibes, as you would say. We call him head ass. It's gonna be a good time on this episode. So Thomas, welcome. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too. Oh man.
All right, you ready to go grocery
do it.
shopping?
Yeah,
What
let's
are
do it.
what are we making today?
We're gonna be making some Banh sale for y'all. Let's go.
Sure, let's do it. All right, Thomas. You ready to hit the grocery store?
Oh yeah. Let's
So-
do it.
On our drive here, and I forget that I don't have my rear view camera because I have this camera recording.
Do the hand behind the back on me, bro.
Roll down the window. Oh,
oh.
oh,
uh,
I think that made it worse.
we're on an adventure, boys.
All right, so Thomas, are you ready to say hello?
Yeah.
So the hello acronym, I just thought of it for this episode. It stands for, there's 5 letters.
Mm-hmm.
And in these 5 letters, each of the acronym letters, we're gonna explore a little bit more about your background.
Okay.
Each letter in hello stands for a certain thing. And I'll explain the acronym right now. So H is heritage and family.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to talk a little bit about your heritage, where you come from and your family as a whole. Then the next letter is A, and that's the American immigration story. How did your family get here? How did you get here?
Mm-hmm.
Then L stands for learning, so learning and education. What
Okay.
did that educational background look like for yourself?
Okay.
And then the second L is life's work, so kind of your career path.
Okay.
And then the O stands for off hours. So that's what do you do in your off hours?
Okay.
So
Sure.
Let's start with H, heritage and family. What's that look like for you, Thomas? I think you have a lot of brothers, right?
Yeah, I got 3 brothers that I know of. I have a pretty wide family. I'm the youngest of 4.
Mhm.
In my direct family. I was born here in Fairfax County in Innova Hospital. Haha.
Nice.
But when I was a month old, my brothers, they were all going to school in Vietnam. My family, both my mom and dad, they had businesses in Vietnam as well.
Right.
So month old, shipped my ass back to Vietnam with
Ooh.
them. Grew up primarily in Saigon in District 1
Mhm.
and lived a pretty normal Vietnamese life, I would like to say. My brother went to school. I went to school there. I went to a Australian immersion school. I think my parents, they wanted me to eventually in the future pursue like a higher education outside of Vietnam.
Right.
As time passed by, my parents, they were like, yeah, no, let's bring all the kids back to America. Because my grandparents were here in America already post-war.
Right.
So it just made sense to come back. We had a house and everything here. My grandparents had stable careers here in America. So yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're born here in America,
Mm-hmm.
but most of your family was back in Vietnam, or like kind of that core
Yeah.
group, right? And then
Yeah,
so
direct family.
you came back, grew up there some, and then so kind of what is your family story for getting to America? It sounds like your grandparents came here first.
Yeah, so my grandfather was a general in the military for South Vietnam.
Mhm.
And post-war, they were basically, at least on my mom's side, they hopped on a plane and came to America. And very, very lucky for my grandpa and my grandma from my mom's side to be in the position they were,
Mhm.
where they were able to secure jobs within Fairfax County right away when they came because of their standing in the Vietnamese society and their connections already.
Mhm.
My dad's side, my dad had come to America by himself after the war. He was a boat person,
Mhm.
and he came and he basically backpacked through America until he hit Philadelphia.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's when this one Caucasian couple took in my dad.
Wow.
And I like to call them my grandpa and my grandma as well. I was actually named after the dad, essentially. My dad's dad.
Right.
I was named after him. His name was Grandpa Tom.
Mhm.
We always call him Grandpa Tom, so I was named after him.
Nice.
And yeah, and then my dad went to college in Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
My mom went to college in Vietnam. And then they both were in America a little bit afterwards, and then they went back to Vietnam.
For the business stuff.
Yeah, for the business. They
Gotcha.
both opened up their own businesses. My mom was a fashion designer, a pretty good one at it.
Mhm.
She did a lot of traditional fashion design. She was published in Vogue a couple times.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's pretty cool. And then my dad he did creative marketing.
Mhm.
So he was really big in like the Southeast Asian sphere of like making ads and stuff. So he would be like creative director, like director of photography and all that stuff for a lot of really big companies. I think some would be like ACB Bank, which is the primary bank in Vietnam, and as well as Fujifilm
Mhm.
in Japan. And then he was a judge for a lot of like marketing competitions too.
Wow. That's really cool.
Big creative family.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that reflects, definitely reflects a lot in you based from how I know you. But jumping off of that, let's talk a little bit about your learning and your educational background. What did that look like for you growing up? I know you talked about going to school in Vietnam a bit. I know you went to Mason for college, but aside from let's let's talk about your like a traditional learning path, and also like where else did you learn? Did you learn a lot from your parents, your grandparents, stuff like that? I really want to understand the core of like what education looked like to you growing up.
Yeah, for sure. Growing up, I think the core values and morals I learned from my grandparents.
Mhm.
My mom and dad weren't really in the main picture growing up because they had to take care of the businesses in Vietnam.
Mhm.
So they were always there. And then my grandparents were here and I went to school like after I came back to America in first grade, I just lived with my grandparents and my brothers. A lot of what I learned was from my grandparents as well as the community around me. So like my friends, my neighbors, all that stuff. That's really how I learned like morals, values, and all that stuff, and just
Right.
how to like communicate with people.
Mhm.
I was a pretty outgoing kid, quiet but outgoing,
Right.
for the most part. And then like traditional learning or like education wise, like you said, I went to school in Vietnam and then I came to America. Then I went through traditional like first through 12th grade in
Right.
the county system, and then went to Mason for my undergrad, graduated in 3 years during COVID, and then took a gap year thinking I was going to go back and a master's for marketing, and then I was going to continue education at Mason, decided against it,
Yeah.
and then now I'm at George Washington University
Right.
getting my
The
master's in digital media.
digital media.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, and we'll kind of talk more about that educational stuff later. I know there's a couple different branches I want to explore there. I know you have a lot of different majors. You graduated with, I
Yeah.
think you were pre-med for a while, right? Anesthesiology. Then you
Yeah.
did IT, cybersecurity, right? And
Yeah.
then you were also looking to do the marketing stuff, and then
Yeah.
I mean now you're in the digital media. So there's a lot of
A lot of brain boggling.
a lot of different fields of interest, and I think this is a perfect venture into the next topic, which are some of your life works, or some of your career paths,
Yeah.
because I think you've had a ton of different career paths in all of those things that you're interested in.
Yeah.
Right? Do you want to talk a little bit about those just at a very high level, a few of the things that you've done and gained a lot of really good experience from?
Yeah, so with the pre-med anesthesiology thing, that was like more of like I wanted to be a doctor, but I couldn't be a doctor, so I settled
Mhm.
since I have a tremor in my hand, so I couldn't be a surgeon. But then
Mm.
in the end of the day, I didn't like truly pursue it. I graduated undergrad with a degree in chemistry.
Right.
So with that, when I graduated, it was peak COVID,
Right.
like fall of 2020. I was sitting there and like, all right, cool. What job am I gonna get?
Right.
What is in the field for a chemist?
Mhm.
And the easiest one was to do COVID research.
Mhm.
So I did COVID research for the CDC
Gotcha.
for about 6 months. Hated it, but
Mhm.
got a lot of experience just in terms of like research and like thesis writing and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So that was fun when it was fun.
Mhm.
And then after that, I did a little stint in IT. Well, it's IT technically,
Mhm.
but it felt more of like a PM. like a project management internship. I was interning at the Federal Reserve Bank as a service lifecycle management intern.
Mhm.
Basically, I learned ServiceNow. To those who know what ServiceNow is, and then I got a certificate, and then I literally just ran through tickets, and then I would tell people what tickets they need to manage.
Gotcha.
But honestly, that was probably like one of my top 3 experiences in terms of career wise. Knowing that I am working for a very big like company,
Mhm.
and like like the Federal Reserve Bank manages all the money in the world.
in the
Or
in
in
the
America.
in America, yep.
Yeah, and you think the Treasury does? Nah.
For sure.
So that was pretty cool. I met a lot of cool people there. I met 2 of my really good mentors who I still keep in contact with there, and then became a wedding photographer. So, or well, a freelance photographer, but mainly wedding photographer.
Right.
That was interesting. I started doing photography like literally like the end of my freshman year, or like the beginning of my sophomore year of college,
Mhm.
because I was in VSA and they needed someone who could pick up a camera.
Yep.
Picked up a camera. I was like, ooh, this is kind of fun.
Right.
And then I realized that I can converse easily with people.
Mhm.
People find me easy to talk to. So I was
Yeah.
like, wedding photography seems like it could be an avenue. Did my first wedding, had a lot of fun with it. It still is like my end goal to be a true wedding photographer, like full time. But yeah, I'm still getting booked, thankfully,
Nice.
and I'm still having a great time with it.
And I think you kind of explored that a little deeper by actually working for somebody in an agency model, right?
Yeah, both for weddings and real estate.
Yeah.
So inside the agency, I would just get hired as a second photographer, or if they needed me, they would like hire me as a first photographer for weddings, and I would just take a little paycheck
Yep.
and just go to weddings that they just booked me for. I don't have to do any talking to any clients or anything, but
Mhm.
I just show up and just do it. And then for real estate, it was a lot of like it was a startup real estate agency that I worked with. So then they would have me go out and do a lot of just talking or like communications
Mhm.
on my end, booking myself as well as getting other people booked for these houses. Just go in, take photos, do the videos. Learn how to fly a drone through that. So that was
Yeah.
pretty cool. So have my license. They sponsored my license for it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I do remember that time where you were doing the drone stuff initially,
Dude.
and I just got mine, and then we were like, yeah,
Yeah.
for Masa Camp, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We were like, well,
what if
run 2 drones? Gotcha. And speaking of MOFSA and VSA as a whole, right? It sounds like that was kind of the branch that got you more into the media.
Yeah,
And it
for
sounds
sure.
like there was probably some influence too with your dad running his own kind of creative agency there that kind of helped you be really open to that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'd like to say that I would give the biggest thanks to my dad for buying my mom a camera and then my mom not using that camera, so then my mom just gave it to me.
Nice.
So that was step 1.
Yeah.
But both my parents being creatives really did kind of was like gave myself the okay to be like it's okay to branch out of the STEM like stereotype, and like the STEM business stereotype that every like Asian American kind of falls into. Like not anymore these days, but in the past, like there's that mindset of like
Yeah.
stable,
Right.
like stability is key.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So knowing that both my parents made it in the creative field, and then looking at my brothers, they're like all doing STEM. I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Right.
So I'm just gonna go into this creative field, see where the world takes me. I mean, everyone works on their own timeline.
Right.
My time isn't there yet, but sooner or later it will be, and I know that I'll make it one day. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I have that faith in you. I think that's why
Yeah.
we work really well together in
Mhm.
terms of, our friendship over the last couple of years. We've
For sure.
kind of walked in step in each other's journeys. We've seen how we've both kind of evolved. Because I remember when I first met you, you were talking to me all about the anesthesiology stuff, and you were definitely super enthusiastic about it, And then I was like, oh, I'm excited. Next time I saw you, like, I'm in the Federal Reserve doing IT, and I was like, oh, this is
Whoa.
a big change. But you sound happy about this too, So I feel the same. I was, and when I talked about it in my episode, it's just, I went down the corporate route. Parts of it I hated, and then I found parts of it I liked, but ultimately I really did want to explore this, that creative field. So I understand that desire for sure.
Yeah.
And I know, it makes me really happy that VSA was kind of a branch that got you
Yeah.
more exploring into it. And
Yeah.
and from my understanding, you know that branch from VSA to MOFSA was also another big one.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest step in it. So, starting with VSA, it was my G-Big Kwan who
Yeah.
was like, "Hey," well, it was more like I walked up to him. I was like, "Hey, you want to teach me photography?" He's like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, sure." So he was like a big mentor to me, and
Right.
then Bambi was another big mentor to me in terms of like just being a creative.
Yep.
She really did. She believed in me all throughout my whole journey, and also she like really like just pushed me.
Mhm.
She was one of the people who like convinced me to like just sign up to be media, like my very first media position in MOFSA,
Also.
which
Yeah.
was camp
Mhm.
6,
Mhm.
camp 6 or 7. I think it was 7 when Philip was director,
Right.
and then that was basically my into MOFSA, and from there on it was just always media.
Whole bunch of work done for that
And then
org.
I did a little stint with food.
Yeah.
With this man right here.
Yeah. We did indeed cater for 100 plus college kids with zero catering experience.
Zero catering experience, zero money.
You know, so and you know, and now talking about MOFSA, we've both retired, so now we have a lot more
Yeah.
free time and off hours, and I think
Oh,
that's
God.
kind of the perfect jumping point in terms of what do you kind of do during your off hours? What do you do for enjoyment nowadays? I know volleyball is
Yeah.
kind of the big one right now, right?
Yeah, volleyball has actually just taken over my life.
Mhm.
Off hours, I'll do a lot of like self learning. I read a lot. I play games every once in a while, not too much anymore.
Yeah.
I used to be a huge gamer,
Mhm.
but cut all the. I think I like touch my computer for video games like maybe once a week now.
Mhm.
Replace it with a lot of like reading and like learning, like while I'm on my computer.
Yep.
I'm off my computer. Besides, like doing like the typical like photo editing and all that stuff.
Mhm.
I'll go play volleyball. I'll play volleyball like 3 or 4 times a week.
Yep.
I'll be like each session is like 4 or 5 hours.
Mhm.
It's pretty strenuous on my body, but it's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do I do? I'm a pretty big social butterfly nowadays. I always was, but it's like I'm in like the phase where I'm okay being out there like spending time with other people constantly.
Yeah.
So I've been going out and drinking a lot. It's casual.
Oh, for sure. And then speaking of drinks, we're parked at the grocery store now. We're in the H Mart parking lot, and I think we got a bunch of groceries to get. I think some beers are going to be on that list. Some
Yeah.
brewskis for the episode. What do you think?
I'm with it.
All right, let's move on to the next phase of the podcast here.
Let's go. They got Banh here.
Dude, they have everything here. They got lobster rolls and stuff. All right, we are out here in the H Mart. I think I sent you the grocery list.
Yeah, I'm checking it.
So the first section of groceries we'll get here are for the fresh and the veggies. So we need scallions for the batter.
Scallions, lettuce.
And then we'll need nook mum. For the nook mum, we'll need the lime, the bird's eye chili,
Garlic cloves.
yellow onion, bean sprouts, mung beans. I don't know if they have mung beans here.
We don't need mung beans specifically.
Yeah, but we'll try to find them.
Yeah, we'll look around.
All right, let's just go. Let's
Yeah.
get this stuff first. So
All right.
scallions. But there might be the chili here though.
Yeah.
Do you know what this bird's eye chili looks like? How many random chilies after this?
It's okay, man. You can just start making like curry or something with it.
Want to help me with this?
Marilla, basil. These are soybean sprouts or soybean sprouts. These are mung bean sprouts.
Does it matter?
Do you have a preference in taste?
Nah.
I like these more, but
Okay, let's get those. Is your comfort food, man?
you know my family eats all the time.
All right, let's do it.
I used to like snap on these as a kid.
Oh, I had a friend who did that. It tastes. It's kind of like fries.
Yeah.
Yeah. He dipped them in like hoisin sauce.
Okay, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a little hardcore.
Yeah.
Not the camera seeing me walk past the wires. There's juice in there.
How did they feel?
Kind
Hard?
of
Similar to
like big, squeeze them.
similar to something else you feel?
Fushigi balls.
Mm. Thomas,
Yes.
I got 2 questions for you in
Yes.
this fresh veggie section, all right?
Yes.
First question. What was the general gist of how your upbringing was like as a whole? How would you
Like
how would you get that down to like 2 or 3 words in terms of vibes?
in terms of vibes.
Yeah.
It's like an accumulation of everything.
Yeah.
I'd say my life was very chaotic.
Yeah.
I feel like I had a very big it was like so wide. I guess I would say like 2 or 3 words. My life, right?
Mhm.
Or my upbringing.
Yeah.
I can narrow it down to 1 word.
Okay.
It's a very general word. I think it was fun.
Fun?
Fun.
Yeah.
Non-traditional fun.
Non-traditional. In like what way?
Like a traditional family, you're always like with your parents, or
Mhm.
like you're generally with your parents. But I spend most of my time with my friends. The neighborhood kids would always like come hang out at my house.
Mhm.
Like one of my best friends to this day was my next door neighbor for a majority of my life.
Mhm. Was that Chris?
No, it was young one.
Okay, young one.
Chris was a neighborhood away.
Gotcha.
It's
It's like a 3-minute walk though,
Yeah,
right?
3-minute walk. He
Yeah.
would just come over to the neighborhood. Marcus would come over a lot.
Yeah.
Like just like the whole gang would come over.
Mhm.
Right. Like I said before, a lot of my morals and values were like were what I learned from the people who I surrounded with.
Yeah.
The people who I surrounded with, for the most part, were my friends. Like I spent most of my time with my friends
Gotcha.
and my brothers.
And you guys kind of grew up together, right?
Yeah. It was just fun because we would always just be doing fun things. Like we'd just be playing video games or playing sports or whatever, like just hanging out with each other.
Mhm.
I didn't really have strict parent like tiger parents like
Right.
hounding me to do homework or whatever. I
Mhm.
kind of just did it myself. But like my grandparents were always just like, oh, do it at your own pace, you know?
Yeah.
Like they did their job raising their own kids.
Right.
They're just here to babysit at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Feed, make sure they're not dead.
Yeah.
They brush their teeth, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, very non-traditional household
Yeah.
that I grew up in and was raised in, and then just fun because the house was never like quiet.
Quiet. Yeah.
Yeah. It was always chaotic in some way.
Right.
And then like at some point, like my cousins from Vietnam, they came over and they lived with us
Mhm.
for a little bit,
Oh wow.
and it became even more fun because then I just had my cousin and I, we became absolute best friends. It
Right.
was like
Where's your cousin now?
she still lives here in Virginia.
Gotcha.
She's working at a law firm right now,
Gotcha.
but she's going through law school. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. That kind of segues into my next question. I'm really glad that your first answer talked about kind of summarized it to fun with
Mhm.
friends, right?
Sorry.
Being kind of such a central theme.
Yeah.
Because my next question, this is based off of some of the personal context that you gave me
Mhm.
to learn more about you, right?
Yeah.
Leading up to it, and you actually listed, 2 of those
Chris,
friends, Chris and
Kristen Young.
Young.
Yeah.
So my question to you now is just, what were the neighborhood goons, as you guys call them? What was that like for y'all? And what would you say were 2 or 3 of the most really head ass things you guys really did together that, looking back on it, were high key very questionable?
Damn. Neighborhood Goons. It was just like this culmination. There's like 8 to 10 of us.
Right.
Like it's all the boys, and like there'd be this one like tomboy girl.
Yeah.
We just like run around being like the biggest dumbasses in the world. We
Mhm.
like did like imaginary stick fights and stuff.
All right.
We like, just climbed trees. We did like stupid boy things like
Mhm.
back then.
Yeah.
Like climb trees. We played a lot of sports. The Neighborhood Goons was like our small friend group, but then like it was kind of like an emulation of my brother's friend group in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
Like he had his own version of the Neighborhood Goons, and like we would play a lot of like neighborhood football with them.
Okay.
So they'd be like, they would draft the kids, like the older kids would draft the younger kids onto the teams. They're like they're like the coaches or whatever, and they're like just running plays with us.
Right.
But then we were like, oh damn, we want to be like them
Mhm.
because they have such a tight friend group.
Right.
So
So
we have
your
that.
neighborhood goons kind of looked up to your brother's version of neighborhood
Yeah.
goons, like the older versions.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
And it helped that a majority of us were Asian.
Yeah.
I'd like to say. Most of us in the friend group were Korean.
Mhm.
It was like 2 Vietnamese people, like a few Korean people, and then like Chris was the white person, but he never really was like white in our eyes because when I first came to America, Chris was my first friend,
Right.
and then like literally the second day of school when I came to America, he was like, "Oh, can I come over?" And then he met our whole family, and he was like very receptive to like just being open to like all cultures and heritages. Ever since he was like 5, 6 years old, which is crazy.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't think that.
Yeah.
Like a 6-year-old would be able to kind of just be open. Like I mean, like they're more innocent.
Yeah.
As like time goes on, like
Yeah,
he was always
some kids get really nasty with
Yeah.
the difference in races. You know, like I remember coming to school and people would kind of look at my lunch funny or
Yeah,
things like that, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to find somebody who's
Yeah.
very open-minded and accepting like that, and
Yeah.
just like really embraced you guys' relationship and your heritage as a
Yeah.
whole. He spoke really fondly of
Yeah.
you in our conversation.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, goons, we just run around. Played a lot of video games together. Like,
Yeah.
played a lot of fucking Smash Bros.
Yeah.
I taught them how to play Heroes of New Earth, which
Okay.
is similar to League of Legends and like Dota.
Uh-huh.
Like, I remember Chris coming over one day. Chris played a lot of lacrosse.
Yeah.
But then, like, once his lacrosse season ended, he would come over and play video games again. We played a lot of Pokemon.
Mhm.
He was like, he watched me play this one game, like Heroes of New Earth or Han.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yo, what's that game? It was kind of cool." And I was like, "You want to play? I got a second computer. You can just hop on and play."
Mhm.
It's like Tim's computer. Hops on. We started playing, and then next thing you know, he's hooked.
Oh, wow.
Young and Jason come over, like my next door neighbors come over. They're like, "Yo, what are you two playing?" Hooked. It's like Young comes over, like, "Yo, what are you four doing?" He's like, "Yo, we need one more for our fifth."
Nice. You
It's
already
like-
know, man.
And then from there, it was like a 5-stack every day.
Yeah.
It was so fun. Like after school, everyone just goes home or like hops on like we were bringing laptops to like my house and we just
Right.
run it. Yeah, like LAN party every other day. Super fun. Now the second part of your question is like 2 or 3 things that were like head assery.
Super head ass. Yeah.
Super questionable. The biggest one would probably be we decided to start a fire in our ditch
Uh-huh.
and like we were like just so our ditch system is really big where it reaches like the next 3 neighborhoods like from our central point. So we were just lighting this fire and we
my
were like,
gosh.
"Hey yo," like the grass was wet, so we were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
grass is wet, it's not gonna catch."
Uh-huh.
So it's just gonna be in this cement pit,
Yeah.
in this hole. And we were like throwing like axe spray in there, throwing more paper in there,
Axe
more,
spray, that's
more
ridiculous.
tinder and stuff like that. So it was
Yeah.
like just big fire in hole.
Right.
Next thing you know, a bunch of like people are like outside their doors and stuff. They're like, "What the fuck's going on?" And then like I think like one of the kids' dads, like
Yeah.
one of our dads, was like walked out and just started yelling, "What the hell are you doing? Like, all you kids doing?"
Yeah.
A bunch of us started running, and then like some of us were like sitting there like trying to put out the fire,
Mhm.
and then all of us looked up. It was just hazy throughout the neighborhood, just like smoke coming out of every
Right.
sewer, and we're just like, yeah, not the greatest,
Not
the greatest.
Not the greatest idea looking back on it.
Yeah. The next thing was we decided to partake in some activities, and we got very inebriated
Uh-huh.
in broad daylight
Uh-huh.
in the neighborhood, and
Yeah.
someone decided to just like strip and was just like, and all of us were just like, "All right, bet." Sorry.
Sorry.
Like it was like, "All right, bet," and then everyone just started like
Stripping?
kind of, but then we all like started cross streaming like in the middle of like the road, and we're like, "This is broad daylight in my neighborhood."
Sounds wholesome.
Yeah, very wholesome. And then, yeah, I mean, there'd be like the typical you're in high school, someone throws a house party,
Yep.
all that stuff. There's like, I mean, there's things where it's like we would sneak into. So there's a pond near our house,
Mhm.
like hidden pond, like a little like lake or like kind of like park that you can walk through. There's
Right.
like a nature reserve in there. Sneak in there all the time at night,
Mhm.
just to go and just like be dumbasses by the boats.
Yeah.
They hop on the boats and stuff. Yeah, that was not good.
True.
But yeah.
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 So that's cool. I hear about these two kind of goon moments for sure.
Yeah.
I also heard from a close friend there was a situation regarding a banana and your grandfather.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not.
Okay. I'm gonna get back to you on that one.
No.
All right. Let's move on to the proteins. You know, you think about it in your head. If you're ready for it, we're gonna run it. Okay.
Told you about that.
All right. Let's hit the proteins.
I got it. No way he told you. That was like deep down in my memory box. We can do this one.
3 people.
So
This works. Pork.
yeah, 8 pounds of shrimp definitely was not the right number.
All right. All right, let's find a place to settle down for the next question. You ready to talk about the banana story?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Alright.
What we got?
Banana story. The night came back home from like just being dumbasses. I don't know if we came back from like just like we were playing video games for sure. I think we were just doing like our regular Han grind until like 2 in the morning on a weekend.
Right.
Went to like 7-Eleven, grabbed some stuff. Came back. My brother is like chilling
Mm-hmm.
and like he's we're all friends with each other, so
Yeah.
like we were just talking for a little bit. And then Chris takes a banana
Mm.
and starts chucking it at my brother.
What the heck?
And my brother is screaming because, yeah, you're getting pelted at with
By
a banana.
banana.
And then our whole house turns into like a fucking banana fight. We also had another friend there. His name was Thomas Nguyen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just all like, because Thomas is like best friends with my brother, and
Yeah.
then I'm best friends with Chris. So that it's just like a little mini friend group, and it was so funny because then like now there's just like 3 people. I'm hiding.
Mhm.
I'm like hiding and watching this shit.
Right.
And like there's bananas on people. And my grandpa walks up. He's like, "Why is everyone stopping?" And he just sees banana splatters everywhere. I'm like, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I'm just like, "It's okay. I will clean up. I'm sorry." And he's like, "You better fucking clean this shit up." Walks back downstairs. This man's trying to sleep, and he just comes upstairs with splattered bananas everywhere.
Yeah. So you guys had a food fight made up of pretty much just bananas.
Yeah.
How many bananas you had lying around the house?
Probably like 7.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah,
It's a pretty funny moment.
that's the great. I think that lined up pretty much with what Chris said, right? Hopefully,
Yep.
yeah.
He said your grandpa lectured you guys and you guys were just laughing.
Yeah.
Yep. True.
Yeah.
All right, well, we finished up the proteins, so I got another question for you.
Yeah.
So the question is, what did you feel was expected of you growing up?
Ooh, expected of me?
Yep.
Definitely was to be like the star kid.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest brother had dropped out of college just to like pursue his dreams in music and all that stuff, which is understandable.
Mhm.
Oh, both my parents are like all like my brothers and I's respective parents, because my 2 oldest brothers, which are just my half brothers, they're not full brothers.
Right.
Only Tin and I are full brothers with each other.
Mhm.
Like our respective parents always had like a certain expectation of us, but then also like they weren't like true tiger parents
Mhm.
up until like a certain point. At least for me,
Yeah.
I felt like, but I felt like as if the expectation for me was to be the one star child, because my first 2 brothers didn't do the greatest in school.
Mhm.
My 3rd brother has autism,
Mhm.
and then they're like, there's this last kid who's like bright, smart,
Mhm.
So maybe we can push him a little bit further and see if maybe like he can learn from like his brothers and like his family and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So at a certain point, they like really like tried to put on a lot more responsibilities onto me in terms of like family and all that stuff,
Right.
as well as like school. So they're just like, yeah, this kid has to be like he needs to like go to a good school, or like he needs to do well in school.
Right.
He needs to have his social life like up there. He needs to be able to like progress in like the future, like be able to progress pretty quickly in the future, so he can have like stable life.
Mhm.
But all those expectations were all broken. I never really followed any of them, besides like the good grades part, I guess. But, like, that wasn't even like I wouldn't say school was ever hard for me,
Yeah.
because schoolwork and like getting grades is like,
It's a means to an end.
yeah, it's
and
means to an end. And it's also like in my head, I think of it as like a game, or like I think of it as like a system that just has to be like followed through, rather than, oh, I'm doing this so I can learn.
Right.
Like I learn by my own faster than following a system that is handed to me or like given to me. So
Gotcha. So you would say that, school wasn't ever super difficult because you were kind of following through with the motions, and those motions were easy enough for you. But the ultimate end goal of those expectations was to be kind of that golden child, career progression wise, in terms of kind of being more traditional, stability type of deal.
There was also another expectation of me, and I think this is the biggest one, from all my family members except for my brothers, and like outside of, like, just within my immediate family, is they expected me to be able to take care of my brother for the rest of my life. Like everywhere I go and like every step of my life, Tin would be there. So like if I were to choose to move, I take Tin with me. Right. If I were to go to school, I take Tin with me. if I were to do this and that, Tin would be there, and I just have to take care of like if like anyone moves out, like if my parents and grandparents who like ultimately have or like in the past was like they're like, oh, if we ever move out or like we like go back to Vietnam, you're gonna have to take care of Tin. I'm like, and I sat there like as this like 15-year-old kid or whatever, like hearing all this, I'm just like, still in high school. I haven't chosen my college yet.
Right.
But like, what am I gonna say?
That
Am I
feels
gonna
a
say
lot
no?
of weight. Yeah.
Am I gonna say no?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes. Either like through college, like Tin and I entered college at the same time, and I just took him back and forth to school and all this stuff, made sure he did well in school, things like that. It didn't like it wasn't like a hard thing.
Right.
In the end of the day, because Tin is extremely smart.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the smartest human beings I know, and he can take care of himself. And I know his capabilities that he can take care of himself.
Right.
It's just social cue. Like he is also more of a sociable person who has autism rather than others.
Right.
But in the end of the day, it's still like social cues are still a little hard. So it's nice that he has a guardian around him. Like I'd say like 25% of his life.
Yeah.
And then the other 75%, he lives his own life. So yeah. But obviously with a family who is like a traditional family mindset, especially one coming from a country that doesn't really believe in mental health as much as it does today, is a pretty big emphasis.
Right.
But obviously in the past, not that much information's out there. A lot of like false information's been given out in terms of autism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It just is hard for them to grasp the concept, as well as the language barrier that comes with being in a Vietnamese family coming to America.
Yeah.
There's not as much resources to be able to be translated over for them to understand what autism truly is for him. And so they're just like, he needs constant supervision at all times. It's just like, yeah, as a kid, it makes sense. But as an adult or like as a teenager, it's like he needs space. He needs his own space too. So yeah.
Right. I'm sure growing up, you were learning that on the fly too, in terms of the balance of taking care of him and also just like general responsibility over him, while also being able to provide him the space that he needs to also be able to like grow and fend for himself as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm really happy. I'm really lucky that I had like young Chris and all of them around me, because they were learning with me.
Gotcha.
Like they saw I was like struggling. They're like, like we'll hang out with like they were coming over to the house every day anyway. So they'd be like, my brother was like, if my friends were my brother's friends, right? So it was just, the load wasn't there too bad. Like they would always just be like conversing with my brother as if he's just another human being. That's just how I wanted his life to be. Like it's like it's just another regular human being. He has the capabilities of doing anything that even like the top people in this world can do.
Right.
He just has his own vision of doing it. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's it for this question. What do we got next? It should be the carbs. So we gotta get stuff for the batter. Yep. Yeah. So I already have the cornstarch, so we just need rice flour. Yep. Let's do it.
Small one.
Yeah. Perfect.
Are we healthy?
Are we?
Sorry? Sir.
Yeah.
No picture here.
No picture?
No.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll just walk and talk. So next question is, what were some of the favorite parts about your childhood growing up? So like, what were the things that give you that nostalgia that you really love? From what I understand, Han is definitely one of them, right? I think Maple Story, I think gaming in general, just a lot of like fun gaming stuff.
Yeah, so Maple Story was a really big part of my life.
Yeah. It's not doing anything. I'm just holding it.
We can put the cap on for you.
Yeah, like
So Maple Story, just gaming. A lot of gaming. Just playing outside. We would like even like playing outside, we incorporated like video games into it. We would have like our DSs and stuff like that. We sit in my front porch playing Pokemon.
Right.
Once we got to like middle school, we stay after school a lot. Middle school and high school, we stay after school a lot. We would like go to like a lot of like orchestra concerts, like watch our friends play or play ourselves. And then also, I like to think sometimes that conditioned my brain into why I like volleyball now is because my friends and I, we would go watch our friends like play in their like competitive volleyball games and stuff.
Right.
like in high school,
Yeah.
watching matches, and it would be like super. It'd be super fun.
So yeah, so there's gaming, there's the goons, two really good parts about your childhood, going to orchestra together, watching volleyball together, and I think you liked Maple Story so much that you made an MMV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great time.
Uh-huh.
That would be Electro Pop. Shout
Uh-huh.
out everyone who helped me with that. Dance story. That was fun. And we did a little bit of numbers back then. I don't know what is this.
Dude, I loved MMVs back in the day. I used to watch I watched the Love Story.
Oh, I would watch all the love story
The
series.
Love Story MMV to Taylor Swift, and I started crying. I was like, oh my god, life is hard for these Maple Story people.
I was like so hardcore into Maple Story. I would like sit there and watch like the series. Like
Yeah.
they would like do like people would make stories out of it.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'd be like, oh, when's the next episode?
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, those were the times.
Like, go in the comments. Next episode, please.
Yeah. All right, what are you feeling like drinking here? I always like getting like these weird looking design bottles here. Like this looks crazy. I have no idea. It says grape, so I'm not feeling grape. Calpico, I've never had like any of these flavors. Last time I was here, I had some super weird lime drink. I had this thing, and it was actually pretty decent, but I don't want it again. I'm thinking about one of these. I like the
The
design.
calamansi. Calamansi's really good. I like it.
All right. Do I do lime twice in a row? I'll do the white peach.
What am I feeling? A little sipper. Which one did you get? Oh, the white peach one. I'll get the calamansi one then.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Have you ever had these?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I have.
These are so good. You want to try them?
Yeah, I'm down. All right, that's your pick. Go to camera. We got. All right, we'll try this. I'll get us something like
I do one sweet, one savory.
Ooh, that sounds good. So I'll find us a sweet one.
This
one's sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do a savory.
Yeah.
See if I can find something here. Oh, I like the design.
Ooh.
Egg yolk flavored shrimp crackers.
I'm with it.
Yeah. Get this for the snack. And I think that should be everything. All right, so we got booted. Well, we didn't get booted out of the grocery store, but we had this guy heckling us for not using the camera in the store. So I got to search up to see if HMART policy truly does not allow it. But I think he was just being a little bitter. Anyways, we're gonna wrap up the rest of the groceries part of the interview in the car ride home. And the first question I have for you is, from my understanding, there was definitely a moment in high school, and I think you might have touched upon it when you're talking about your parents kind of sitting you down when you're 15 talking about your brother. And I'm not sure if this is the case, but from what I've heard from your friends is there was definitely like a really rough patch in high school where they did notice that you were a little more distant from everyone and you were definitely going through things, and they were there from you for you, but they could see that something was definitely weighing heavily on you. And if you don't, and I'm this is totally optional, you'd have to answer it, but I'd love to if you're willing to share, I'd love to understand
sure.
that what was happening there.
I mean, back in high school, around that time, it was like a culmination of things like, yeah, you're not supposed to drink early in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to do this and that.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing that stuff, and then also like around that time was college decision time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about the same moments because I do remember they were like very vocal about how I was, why I was distant and stuff like that. But college decision time, and it was a time where I was like, I really want to go to this college, that college. But if I go to this college, that college, if I leave town, who's going to take care of my brother? Because it wasn't a guarantee if my mom or dad were going to be in America.
Right.
It's not a guarantee if my grandparents can take care of him, like take him to school and whatnot.
Right.
So A lot of things just going on in my head,
Mm-hmm.
and also like school was a little, that wasn't iffy, but it was like I just wasn't enjoying school at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't enjoying my internship at that time. I just fell into like a bad headspace and kind of just stayed for a long time.
Mm.
Um, at the end of the day, I was just like, just pick Mason. I was like, I'll do it for the brother. Fuck it. And I was like, I can always have fun at Mason. Like, nothing's gonna stop me from continuing on with life. It's just like a little detour I have to take.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I became distant, but that was just like my body just shutting down. And like I didn't know it was, that was like the first time I've ever experienced like, like so much like stress inducing things all at once where
Mm-hmm.
my body just shut down. I just didn't want to see anyone. Like I just
Right.
wanted to like kind of hermit in my own space.
Mm-hmm.
And I just needed time to recharge my own battery. But it's like my friend group, I like, it's one of those things where it's like the people in that friend group were people you could hang out with even though your battery was depleted because
Mm-hmm.
they didn't take anything. Like they can be in the same space as you, just be silent. And it's like it's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Like it's actually nice. But around that time was when like I said, college decision times, like a lot of like social gatherings happening, blah blah blah. And I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna go, or I just
Mm-hmm.
want to read my text messages. So I just like leave people on read and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like acknowledge I read them, but I don't have the capacity to text them back or like just like at the end of the day, yeah, it was bad that like I never like gave them the sign of acknowledgement from my side. It was more of like a silent acknowledgement,
Mm-hmm.
but to them, it definitely probably felt like, oh, is he okay? Like what's
Right.
going on? Now they know that I just kind of shut down.
Yeah.
I like to hermit a little bit. And I kind of just like go to like my own space,
Mm-hmm.
and then I go read a book or some shit,
Mm-hmm.
drink some tea, and I'll come back.
Yeah, you get that recharge time, and
Yeah,
it, based on my understanding of the answer, it's just
yeah,
that time of your life was probably the most overwhelming that you had experienced up until that point that you were living,
yeah.
and
Just almost
everybody's
yeah,
response to stress is going to be a little different, and yours
yeah,
just reacted in this way, and I'm sure that you probably like learned from that in terms
yeah,
of
for
like how
sure.
you handled
Yeah.
future stressors, right?
It's funny because Hyung, to this day, like he knows and he respects it so much, but he always tells me to stop being a little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, my bad, bro. I'll bounce back tomorrow.
I love it. Awesome. So the next question is, what did you want to be growing up as a kid?
Oh, what did I want to be when I grew up? Man, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a stay-at-home dad.
True.
Low key, I still kind of do, but
It's the dream, man.
like as a kid, I was just like, I just want to stay home. I'd like watch like like all like the Chinese, Vietnamese, and Korean dramas that my
Mhm.
grandma would be watching and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like some of them had like these stay-at-home dads who just live their fucking life. I'm like, yo.
True.
I was like, damn. And then like switched for like a hot second
Mhm.
where I was like, ooh, I want to be a dancer because I watch High School Musical.
Mhm.
And then I was like, nah, I'm not gonna be a dancer.
Right.
I was like, nah, impossible. Stay-at-home dad for sure. Didn't even need to be a dad. Just stay at home.
Stay at home.
Besides that, like probably like at some point I was like I want to be a professional video gamer. But I think like every dude who plays video games, like every person in general, like if you have like you're like decently good at a game, you're like, damn, maybe I could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. And then it changed into being a doctor.
Mhm.
Then it turned into I just want to make money.
Just want to live life.
Yeah.
I feel you.
And then now I'm still a child at heart, so this is still my childhood dream of like what I want to be. Like, I just want to be able to like create something that influences
Mhm.
everyone.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I hear you.
So
Nice.
yeah.
Awesome. So for the next question, it is what would you say are the three most influential parts of your childhood, kind of that really influenced the core of your character today? And based on our conversation, I think I can probably fill in the blank for two of them. And
Yeah, go for it.
so I'll try to speak to what I'm hearing from two, but obviously if you don't think they're part of the three, then list out the three as you think that they are. But from what I understand, your friend group that you had around you was definitely a huge one. The people, as you were saying, that friend group you surrounded yourself with really taught you the morals and what to look out for who you wanted to be today.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see that. And I think I feel like a lot of the stars aligned in terms of you just ending up sort of being surrounded by good people, because this could have been, you could have landed in a very different group, like,
Yeah, for sure.
and the fact that this is the group that you landed with and that you look to for the support and also just like the general guidance of things you were looking to do or bouncing ideas off.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably one of them. And then I'd say your family was a big influence. It sounds like the dynamics of, your parents kind of being further away, and then but also being raised by your grandparents, but also having like all your brothers. That sounded like the situation of your family sounded like dynamically there was a lot going on there.
Yeah.
In terms of
Speed ran my growth.
yeah, for sure. Like I think based on some of the conversations I had with your other friends, they described you as having to grow up or mature just really quickly, based on that your family dynamics and kind of expectations that were looked at for you, growing up. So those are two that I see, and then feel free to fill in the blank for the third and make any revisions there.
The third one is definitely the switching culture, or like the two cultures I was able to be enveloped in. So, like I said, I grew up in Vietnam for a little bit, and then came to America. Oh, I guess came back to America.
Yeah.
But every summer in between like school, I would go back to Vietnam to live in Vietnam with my parents, and I was able to surround myself with my own heritage of like my culture of being like a full Vietnamese person, and then also being able to understand American culture, as well as being surrounded by a lot of like very diverse people here in America in general. I was able to really be culturally aware and culturally sensitive to a lot of people in this world, to everyone in this world, hopefully. And I think that is a privilege that I have that I would say not even like 5% of the people like in this world right now, maybe like 10% is probably a better number, don't get the opportunity to until later on in their life when they say like, oh, I'm gonna finally go back to visit my family's home country for the first time, right? Like
For sure.
a lot of like people in VSA or like just like friends in general, they always say like, oh, I've never been to Vietnam before, but I've had the opportunity to have been there so many times in my life,
Right.
and learn. So that's why I have different viewpoints and like different mannerisms, but I think it's a good thing that I have that and I'm able to kind of like play my role in this world with that information and that knowledge.
It's definitely a unique perspective to you because, for me, and I'm one of those people where I haven't been back to Vietnam yet, and my understanding of my roots and my heritage is just really different because it's based around my parents, whatever my parents have brought to me during my upbringing, and then you get a lot of many different worlds. You get the experience of, you went to school there, and then I feel like you were able to get the kind of like the actual like Vietnamese experience, like modern day Vietnamese kid experience, hybrid with like the just Vietnamese American experience alongside, so not necessarily 100% of either one, but like this kind of hybrid version that has given you a unique lens on just the differences in the cultures that we live in today. Yeah, and on top of just like understanding the roots of how our home country was for our parents' generation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So it like cool. It definitely like kind of like also shaped how I acted around people here in America. Like like there's the things of like how like, oh, you bring your like home lunch to school and like people are like, oh, it smells blah blah blah.
Right.
And, it's like it looks weird. Like we don't know what this is. I kind of just sat there and I ate my food. I was like, okay.
Tastes
like,
good.
It never really bothered me because like, in Vietnam, like for lunches, I would like walk out the school gates and go buy lunch right outside the school gate.
Right.
Come back in and just eat.
Right.
Like, everyone's just eating like so many different foods. And because I went to an Australian immersion school, there were a very wide variety of like of people there from different cultures. There's like a lot of expat kids there, a lot of Caucasian kids, like a lot of Australian kids, a lot of people just from like, it's like a conglomerate of culture, like a melting pot of cultures there. So I had my exposure to different cultural spaces and like different cultures in general very early on in my life.
Right.
Which is also a huge privilege that not many people get, but I'm glad I was able to have that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Hear you. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing those three.
Yeah,
I can definitely see those influences just throughout our conversation and just being your friend as a whole. So it's definitely nice to hear just directly from.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So the last question for this segment, which is just the coverage of your past and getting a picture of who you what you've experienced up until today, is how did life change for you after high school? So going into college and things like that. I feel like that's really a big turning point in a lot of people's lives because that's kind of like the first real step of independence.
Yeah.
I guess you get. And yeah, I've definitely heard some things from your friends that they describe college as like you really just blossoming in many ways because as you describe it, you're always a sociable person, but you were a little more like reserved or shy. And it sounds like in college there might have been this click in you that just made you kind of that social butterfly that you have really embraced today.
Yeah. So yeah, high school, reserved, shy, like the nice kid, but still sociable. Like if I'm like comfortable around someone, that act, like as who I am. But otherwise, I was just like didn't really do much, didn't participate in much. I just went home, played video games, or did my sports, whatever. Going to college, it was like the summer before college where like obviously I had to say goodbye to a lot of my friends because they're all like going to like different colleges. They're all moving like Blacksburg, Harrisonburg, fucking California,
Right.
things like that. And I'm just like, okay, cool. And I luckily had Hyung and another friend of mine, Jack, who like was gonna go to Mason with me, and we like took the same classes together for a little bit. But I think the biggest turning moment was when one of my other friends, she saw I was at Mason, and she messaged me. She's like, "Hey, come join VSA." I was like, "What the hell is VSA?" I didn't even know this thing existed. I didn't know what the acronyms were. Her keywords were lots of Vietnamese people.
Right.
I'm like, all right, you got me. Walk over to like I think they were like doing like a booth or something right outside my chemistry lab. Yeah, they were tabling. Walked out, joined VSA. In that moment, I kind of just put my name on an Excel sheet, but I didn't know I was signing myself up to join VSA. I thought it was like an interesting. Like, I'd get like an email,
Right.
like a newsletter saying, "Oh, this is our upcoming, general body meeting."
Right.
No, I got a piece of paper saying what date it was. They told me to follow their Instagram, and then I got added into their roster.
True.
And then I go to the first GBM. I'm like, oh, there's actually so many fucking Vietnamese people. It's great, and a lot of people. I was like, I think that was when I was able to like really get out there because I found people of the same culture. Like it's like growing up in high school and stuff like that. There was a considerable amount of like Vietnamese people and stuff like that, but I surrounded myself mostly with Koreans. And yeah, I had like I hung out with like the Vietnamese people too, but not as much. There was like 7 or 8 of us, I think. No, I lied. There's like 15 to 20 of us, but I hung out with like maybe like 5 of them. Yeah, and then in college, I walk into this general body meeting of like 100 and like 50 bodies inside of this one tiny room.
Right.
I'm looking around, like solid 70% of these people are Vietnamese, probably. And then I kind of just like sat down. Like, I would join them every once in a while in the library, and it was like felt nice, felt really nice, felt comfortable for me.
Right.
And that was the biggest change because that was when I became like a little bit more outgoing. I kind of like voiced my opinions more. Met friends, met my bigs who I have today. Yeah, the biggest thing. And then college shenanigans.
Yep.
Yeah.
So being able to feel comfortable allowed you to just feel more self-confident in being yourself and explore it. And also, I know VSA was also that community help you. I feel like being comfortable helped you feel like you could get involved more,
Yeah.
in a way, and that helped you get more involved with those creative sides that
Mhm.
you're always curious about, and
Yeah.
got you start there. So
I think
yeah.
another thing, like going to college,
Mhm.
was that I knew, like, I mean, in high school, you're always hanging out with people in your grade, right?
Mhm.
In college, you're just hanging out with people in general.
Right.
So I think being able to know that if I were to join something, I will have a mentor
Mhm.
who can like teach me and help me, and I'll have like all these older peers in general who are like going, although they're going in different pathways of life.
Mhm.
Some of them might be going the same pathway as me. It's like I know I'll have a place.
Mhm.
Versus in high school where it's like your friend group is your place.
Mhm.
That's how I felt. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of weight to feeling like all your eggs are in one basket, right?
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah, for sure.
all your friends being in just that one friend group. It can
Mhm.
feel there's a there's because I understand that too. Like, I went to school with like a lot of my friends from high school,
Mhm.
and I ended up making a lot more friends in college. But I do understand where you're coming from. Where like you have that main group growing up, and then sometimes you're just like that's all you know. So I
Yeah.
feel like college really just opens up this new world for you to
Yeah, for sure.
explore.
Yeah.
And I think through that exploration, it helps you get more comfortable in your own skin and knowing
Mhm.
that, you know, it wasn't just because you were sticking to that one friend group. It's that, those were the only friends you had. It's because like they liked you, and
Yeah.
you found proof of concept that with that in college, especially finding other like-minded people
Yeah.
from different backgrounds and stuff.
For sure.
So I
Yeah.
hear you. All right, well, cool. That wraps up our the past segment of the podcast. We're gonna go park and get the prep workflow set up for the cooking, and we will talk about your present after. Sound good?
Yes, sir. And we'll see you soon.
Ah!
I got you. I got you.
Welcome back, everyone. So we are back at the crib, the cooking station. We're gonna go ahead and make the benseo. And in our workflow today, through each major step, we'll go ahead and we will ask Thomas some questions as we prep. So
Yeah.
there's a couple stages of prep. Let me turn the camera here. Then we got the go to
The B camera.
the B cam for the detail shot. So we're gonna have workflow one. It's gonna take the longest time. We're gonna make the batter. This is the secret, right, to any good benseo. You
Of
gotta
course.
nail the
Yeah.
batter.
Always.
And I think this is a well-known secret, but sometimes forgotten. But I think beer is pretty important, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
In making
It
that
really
batter
makes it.
crispy.
Mhm.
And we gotta let it rest for an hour, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna make it, let it rest for an hour. We're also gonna make a dipping sauce for the benseo. It's called
Nước mắm chấm.
Nuk Mum Chum, and that is some fish sauce. Make it a little sweet with some sugar. We're gonna add a little spice with it. Some of these peppers. Gonna get that garlic and lime for that acidity and
Mhm.
that flavor. And then we have our fillings. It's gonna be some onions, some shrimp, some pork belly, and some bean sprouts. We couldn't find dried mung beans, so that is traditionally in the recipe, but
No worries.
no worries. Yeah, not a big deal. And as we cook, we're gonna just munch on some of the snacks. So let's do it. Let's go ahead and open these up and try get a little taste test, Thomas. I need to find a tripod for this bad boy. So the first snack we have munching on the side is egg yolk flavored shrimp crackers. I chose it because I don't know what the animal that is. I think it's a mole. What do you think, Thomas?
Looks like a mole.
Yeah.
That's a little.
I really like the
Yeah.
mole. He's got some shades on. It's got some shrimp. So cheers.
Cheers. I taste the egg yolk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't taste the shrimp though. I think egg yolk's really.
Mine had shrimp in it.
It's like aftertaste, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's very subtle comparatively to how
Mhm.
it normally is. The egg yolk is really
Yeah.
overpowering.
It's not too salty.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Which one's that one?
This is going to be a hot kid ball cake honey flavor.
Yeah.
These are good.
That hot kid's my idol, bro.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. They're sweet, not too sweet.
Oh, I like that. That's
Honey.
the standard for every Asian dessert, right?
Yeah, it's so good.
Not too sweet.
Yeah. we have such like a strong palate when it comes to our foods.
Yeah.
The snacks and everything has to be like
Right.
a little more on the subtle side.
How do you feel about licorice?
I like it.
Mhm.
I'm a fan of licorice. I'm not a fan of dark licorice, but
I feel like it's an acquired taste.
yeah. But licorice is okay. When I was a kid, I didn't like it, but then as I grew older,
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's more of like a bitter,
Mhm.
sweet. It's almost like star anise.
Yeah.
In stick form.
Yeah, I like dark licorice only when I'm drinking tea. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So those are 2 snacks. So if you see us munching, we got sweet and savory, and let's go ahead get started. We're gonna make the
batter.
batter.
All right.
Thomas, walk us through it.
Oh fuck. In a large bowl, whisk together the rice flour, cornstarch, and turmeric powder and salt. Oh, he needs back.
All right. So for the first question, Thomas, what would you say if you had to categorize them are your core character development arcs as you've gone through life? Do you think there were any really noticeable periods where you had everybody has like an angsty phase in high school, right?
Yeah.
So like did you feel like you had character development arcs in different areas of your life, and in what way did you grow from those different arcs of your life?
There's always I guess like one of the biggest. I'll put it in 4. The first one, it's not in like any like time specific order, but it's just like more like life lesson character developments.
Right.
So the first one was always like a cultural identity, which I feel like a lot of, Asian Americans feel, or like just like people from different cultures coming to America feel. There was always like a cultural identity or like a identity crisis when it comes to like, oh, like where do I fit in this completely different country,
Right.
different continent, different like society that we're in. There's that, but like I said, I was able to kind of like get over it and also like meet like the community and like also just like accept the fact that the culture that I am trying to learn is what I'm going to be living in for a huge chunk of my life, if not the rest of my life. So I have to get used to it anyways. So then, rather than
trying to fight against it,
try to fight against it, I kind of enveloped it and put it into my own personality itself and my own identity and like made it work for me. So yeah, it's not like a immediate, it was never like an immediate change that I was able to kind of flip a switch on, but it was,
So over time, you kind of adopted that mindset.
Yeah.
And it sounds like there might have been initially some sort of friction where you potentially just found that the cultures that you were living in were just so drastically different that it provided you some sort of internal friction, and that's why that you really felt that character arc kind of progress over time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So that's the first one.
First one. Second one was like just like learning to balance family and friends priorities. Like I said in a previous segment, it was like a lot of my life was ran on me being surrounded by friends. So I never believed in the blood runs thicker or whatever that phrase was. Like there's a second phrase to it, which is what truly is what my mentality is. But I've come to realize like it's good to hang out with your family. It's good to have a good relationship with your family. So in the past few years, my relationship with my family has gotten better. Albeit some are distant, but I still have time to build the distant relationships into good ones. And I know, and I'm happy that I can realize that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So the second one, if I had to summarize or kind of repeat that back to you just to make sure I'm understanding it, it sounds like growing up, there was a big emphasis on friendships and being surrounded by that. And
Mm-hmm.
over time, you realize that it's also important to be intentional with the way you engage your family as well. Gotcha.
Yeah. Third one was which is something very recent. It's there's that phrase that old habits die hard.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, recently, just a lot of things happening.
Mm-hmm.
I won't really get into specifics of it,
Mm-hmm.
but just a lot of things, and I'm very happy to have the community around me really help me get through it and like really talk to me through it. So being able to recognize my issues and having people help me get through my issues, and then yeah, I mean, I honestly think that like if anyone chooses to go through therapy,
Mm-hmm.
that will be a defining character development moment in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Think
Right.
I think you can tell, at least from your point of view, I'm a much calmer human being now.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm not like as rambunctious anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Not too crazy. I kind of just live life, play volleyball.
Mm-hmm. I hear
And
you.
then the fourth character development would be um, being able to choose the people who I have in my life as like a lesson. Because like growing up, I was always like, oh, everyone's my friend,
Mm-hmm.
like this and that. And I mean, like I still hold it true. It's like I would treat acquaintances as friends until I establish a clear border.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, but very much so recently, I've been very intentional with the people who I like interact with now. It's like if I am in a current space, like let's say I'm playing volleyball, these will
Right.
be my volleyball friends
Mm-hmm.
until it becomes more than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I am in a workspace, these people are my work friends until we hang out more outside of work and we choose to establish a relationship out of that.
Right.
But in beforehand, it was always like kind of lumped together because when we were in VSA, it was like work, friendship, culture, and all that stuff. It was all very like globbed together as one entity in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So then like in any situation, it was like always like, oh, you are my friend. But then I never really viewed it as, oh, you are my work friend.
Mm-hmm.
You are my, media friend. You are my this and that, like separated categories.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of like really overloaded me with like such a big, like, albeit I have a really big network now,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a very non, like, it wasn't segmented into my head to
Right.
where my own boundaries were for
Yeah.
myself.
So just creating boundaries and these boundaries come with different sets of expectations,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
So from what I'm hearing, just beforehand, you had everyone lumped up, and you were probably trying to treat everyone with the same intention as you had with like your goons,
Yeah,
which is the time and effort that you put into your goons. That's like awesome,
yeah.
but it's also not really sustainable if you try to
exactly.
do it for everyone. So
yeah.
having those boundaries and different expectations for the different sets of people, it sounds like has been really healthy for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's number 4.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh well. So the first one, once again, was culture, kind of like cultural adaptation. The second one was
Family and friends.
Family, friends. Third one was
Therapy.
Therapy. And then the fourth one is the
Boundaries.
boundaries.
Yeah.
Boundaries. Gotcha. So how would you say any of your past or your upbringing, and before you answer this, I will take care of these green onions, but the question is, what would you say in terms of your upbringing, do you think kind of influenced where like the friction came from for like each of those different 4 points.
Yeah.
You know, did it influence it in any way? Like, did the
Mhm.
upbringing with like, you know, just your grandparents
Yeah.
or like, you know, your brothers, did that kind
Mhm.
of like hold you back in different ways until you conquered those
Mhm.
like character developmental
Yeah.
arcs in the
Yeah.
that have happened recently?
So
And before you answer,
yeah.
how many scallions do I need?
That's good. That's good.
This is good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna. It's the green parts only, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Let me show.
We can save like if you want to chop up some white ones.
Yeah.
To use as garnish. That's fine too, but it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
I'll do that. That sounds good.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Get them in there.
Oh yeah. That's sexy.
Mm-hmm. All right, I wanna get that.
Beautiful.
Do we need to stir that, or we just let it rest now?
We just let it rest now.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Okay, Ziggy, set a timer for 1 hour.
1 hour, starting now.
Cool. All right, so that 1 hour is going, and do you remember the question, or you want me to repeat it?
I got it. So in terms of my upbringing, like how, like it like went through with all the friction in terms of like each of those categories.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to like cultural identity, like I said, I was able to learn both cultures from Vietnam and America.
Mm-hmm.
It was more so, I wouldn't say recent, but it was when I came into college was when I like met like all these other Vietnamese people who are feeling a cultural identity crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I was just like, I kind of like fell into it because I was like questioning myself as well, and like because I was like, oh, like obviously everyone's experiences are valid,
Right.
so what makes their what makes their upbringing and like experiences different from mine?
Mm-hmm.
And then I like started to question in terms of like, was my experience in Vietnam like what? How did that make me feel talking to others when they haven't experienced Vietnam yet?
Mhm.
Things like that, right?
Right.
So then I had like it wasn't like a cultural identity in America.
Uh-huh.
It was a cultural identity in as a whole of me, like one being Asian American, yes,
Mm-hmm.
but also being someone who has experienced the true life of Vietnam
Mm-hmm.
or like living in Asia.
Right.
So it was like a big ping pong battle, but then I kind of just got over it. Like
Mhm.
I said before, where I'm just like, you know, kind of just have to roll with it.
Right.
The second one, what did I talk about again?
Second one was about family.
Oh, family.
Yeah.
Family. It was like it was because I didn't grow up like in a traditional household with just my parents.
Mm-hmm.
My grandparents like raised me, right?
Right.
And they didn't really have a big like they didn't want to be too hands-on with
Mhm.
my growth. They knew I could grow by myself and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I could take care of myself. I could take care of my brother.
Yep.
So there's that, and then like obviously like my friends were there more of like they were there emotionally for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like it's your friends. It's like
Mm-hmm.
who you're gonna be growing up with. Like these
Right.
are the people you see every day of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then at some point it was when parents became a little bit more prevalent again.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And when was that?
in the household, it was around like the end of high school,
Mhm.
going to college,
Mhm.
was when I was like, and this also goes back to like my brother,
Mm-hmm.
like, I should like pay more attention to the family rather than like constantly go out or like, you know, just like being absent from the house, things like that. And it's nice to, you know, be able to kind of just sit down and talk to your family every once in a while.
Right.
Albeit, you know, you see them like at home every day, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Gotcha. And then the third one was therapy.
Therapy, yeah.
Mhm.
Bad habits, die hard, therapy. Yeah, I mean, just bad habits growing up.
Mhm.
And it's just been like the bad habits turn into bad decisions, and then bad decisions turn into anxiety.
Mhm.
Anxiety turns into other things.
Right.
So then, like I said, lucky to have such a supportive community around me,
Mhm.
good people around me. really helped me get the push to go into therapy.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and now I'm just cruising, taking a little break from it right now, but we'll come back to it whenever I need to.
Yeah.
Whenever I want to.
I hear you, and I think that's appreciate you being vulnerable in that way, and
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
it's a hard thing to like. It's just kind of a because I've gone to therapy as well, and it's sometimes tough to like
Accept it.
accept, and which is a weird thing, right? Because I think with the whole thing of mental health being more prevalent nowadays, I think we are definitely redefining this notion around therapy that therapy's a bad thing because it's to quote unquote fix something, right? It's I think it's something that oh, just powering off. It's something that is is just so helpful to sort out your brain because, like you said, like bad habits, old habits, they die hard, and you stumble upon them as a growing up just
Yeah.
because you don't know what else to do, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't really have anyone to confide that in, right? So and then they just stick,
Yeah.
before you know it, and then until you realize the impact or the consequences, it's hard to identify yourself that that what you are using to give yourself comfort could have potential impact,
Yeah,
and
sure.
wanting to be able to explore that side of yourself and come to terms with it, and move forward in a way that makes you feel fulfilled and also provides the influence and impact that you do want to see on people and not the ones that you don't want to see.
Yeah.
I think that's a really courageous thing for you to have push yourself to do. So
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
it's really cool. And then the last one was about
Boundaries.
boundaries. Yeah, how do you get there?
Um,
Do you think? And this is just me guessing.
Yeah.
I think with how important friends were growing up in your life, it kind of sounds like because of the way you treated those initial friendships, which are really pillar to your life,
Yeah.
you wanted to apply that to everyone you met, and it wasn't until more recently that you realized that just isn't as sustainable as
Yeah.
you thought it would be.
It was exactly that,
Gotcha.
and like it was just like I just wanted to be, I just want everything to be like the same, right? Like
Yeah.
I wanted like wherever I went, and it's like I was just greedy. I think it's like wherever I went or like whoever I was with, is like I just want to be able to be comfortable myself and also make sure everyone else is comfortable. So, I just tried my best, and I was like I would always treat everyone equally in terms of like friendships and all that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely do see that anytime we hang out. An explicit memory I have with Thomas is we were at Echo Stage, a venue that you
Oh,
watch a lot of different types of shows at thank you, in here in the DMV area, and Thomas was the dude getting water for everyone, making constant back and forth trips to get the water for people.
Yeah, it was
And
hot
then
there.
it was hot. He was getting the water, and Thomas and I would buddy up in the back and create an outside wall
Yeah.
to protect people from other folks bumping into us. So you're definitely very thoughtful
Yeah.
and looking out for your friends and trying to treat people really thoughtfully like that.
I
So
try to be as observant as I can, just so like it's easier for other people to kind of just like be comfortable
right.
when they know like I don't know, like someone is looking out for them, and also like it's easier for me to have peace of mind when I know everyone's having a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Awesome.
Right. Well,
Okay,
we're waiting for this batter.
So we're waiting for this batter. We're gonna make the Nook Mum Jum, and then afterwards I'll ask you another question. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So what do we got going for the Nook Mum Jum here?
All right. It's mum, lime, garlic, chilies, and a little bit of sugar. We don't really need to measure it. It's all I taste.
Gotcha. So the next question I have here is, and I feel like this wasn't covered yet quite in depth as we had talked about for the other kind of character development arcs.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things, I've definitely noticed, and some of your other friends have also said about you, and it's the word jack of all trades
Yeah.
or just many varied interests,
Yeah.
right? And I think that reflects really heavily in your college education and career, and also you had, from my understanding, just a lot of interest growing up, and even now there's dancing, there's gaming, there's a lot of reading involved.
Yeah.
I know you and I both really like light novels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of creative different
Mhm.
outlets, right? Because there's photography is the main one, but
Yeah.
you've dabbled in videography. I think you've dabbled in music as well, right?
Yeah.
Dancing. There's IT. There was the pre-med
Yeah,
stuff.
so much.
There's the digital media. There's the marketing. There's all this stuff. Could you talk me through, where
Where these all came from.
yeah, where
it
these
stemmed from.
yeah, kind of where like the background is and where you are today with each and every one of them, because I I can understand too the just having so many diverse interests, because I feel the same, and it's really frustrating as a human being because you only have
So
this
much
one short life,
Yeah.
right? You can't be a master at everything.
Yeah.
You got to pick and choose. You got to dabble in a lot of things. You ultimately
Mhm.
have to kind of pick a handful to be truly good at, and that's
Yeah.
kind of daunting, right? So I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious the background on all your stuff and where you are now today with them.
Yeah, so photography. Let's start out with photography, the main one.
Mhm.
Photography, still my main profession. My breadwinner. Oh, please don't get me struggling over this.
You want me to just chop it?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, main breadwinner right now in terms of like money,
Hmm.
career wise.
Right.
I lied.
I told you I could have just chopped it.
But yeah, it's definitely the main creative outlet that I'm the most comfortable with. That
Mhm.
I like the most. I find the most joy doing.
Right.
And like, well, before all of that, like, what started everything, where is why like I was a jack of all trades. Like, I was always a curious kid. I was always curious about everything. Whatever made me happy, I would do.
Uh-huh.
So, like, in the moment when I try something new, and I like it,
Right.
then you know, I would just be like, yeah, I would say I have a addictive personality.
Hmm.
So I would get addicted to things really easily.
Hmm.
So just like being able to like do all that, like learn all the things oh my god, I was allowed to learn,
Hmm.
and just given the opportunity to be able to do things like that,
Right.
very thankful for.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, photography was able to learn from
Quan, right?
Quan as well as a few others. Um, and as time passed by, and yeah, like it just my network grew in terms of like the creative world, learn from others, professionals, and everything.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was a good time. Um, let's see, what's the next one? Dance.
Yep.
Dance was like a college thing. So,
Right.
like, I joined college, got into college. Our boy Richard walks up to me while I'm sitting in the library. This man was an artistic director for one of the organizations that I was involved in.
Hmm.
And he walked up to me. He's like, "Hey, yo, Thomas, you want to go to one of the events I'm leading right now?" I'm like, "What is it?" He's like, "It's a dance workshop."
Hmm.
I'm like, I kind of want to do my homework." And then he sat there for like 10 minutes trying to convince me. He's like, "No, the workshop's starting already. Blah blah blah. You gotta go if you want to learn how to dance. Blah blah blah." I'm like, "Dude, I don't even know how to dance. Why would you put me in this workshop?" He's like, "This is where you can learn. It's an easy piece."
Uh-huh.
I was like, "All right, fine." Walked in, learned it, and I was like, "Oh, damn, it's pretty fun."
Yeah.
But it was more for like the people.
Right.
The community was really fun to be with.
Hmm.
Um, I danced for a couple years, like 3 years, I think. Danced in the organization for like 2 years, and then after that, I just went to like dance workshops from like
Right.
the community,
Yeah.
and that was like really fun for me.
Hmm.
Um, I had like some of my close friends dancing with me out there and doing the workshops with me, just learning.
Right.
It's always learning. In the end grand scheme of things, it's always learning.
You just
which
love
fun.
learning, right?
Yeah. But then I stopped dancing because COVID happened.
Yeah.
I danced like a tiny bit after COVID, but after that, it was just like didn't really have any interest in it
Yeah.
because it wasn't like no one was hosting regular workshops anymore.
Yeah. The community was I feel like what kept you,
Yeah.
and it definitely, that dynamic changes a lot once you graduate for sure.
Yeah. And then after I stopped dancing, that's when I always loved reading, but I fell back in love with reading.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started reading a lot of like you said, light novels. I read a lot of sci-fi books. I reread uh, Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Is your camera okay?
Thanks, bro.
Is it going?
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's pretty low battery. I'll let it recharge. We're gonna have to retire the A cam or the B cam, unfortunately, for
No
just a little bit.
So yeah, reread that, and I reread the whole Ender series,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's just a few other books that I can't name the top of my head.
Right.
If anyone wants my list of books I've read, I'll send it to you.
Nice.
But yeah. What else is there? Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Gaming is just gaming.
Yeah.
Gaming is just fun. It stimulates the brain so easily.
Yeah. For sure. Stimulates and engages.
Yeah.
And entertains.
Entertains really easy, especially when it comes to like the games that like are dynamically changing. And, like the multiplayer like games that you play against other people.
Mm-hmm.
Is like not every single game is gonna be the same.
The same.
A match. So yeah.
And it sounds like you enjoy that competitive aspect as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
and
one?
then my most recent obsession. Thank you.
This one is yours?
Yeah. Volleyball. Damn. Volleyball gets me there.
Mm-hmm.
Gets me the same high as if when I used to play video games, but
Yeah.
now I can be healthy too.
Nice.
Yeah. I ultimately had to choose between volleyball and dancing because my knees are in pain.
That makes sense.
It's just volleyball because the volleyball community is so much nicer.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I would say I've met a few of my core friends now in volleyball, and it's always fun playing with them. So yeah.
So before I ask you a little sub question from this, how do you want the onions? Do you want them sliced or diced?
Sliced.
So this way is fine.
Yeah.
Like
How do you like them in your benseo?
I was thinking this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
Cool.
Meats are cut.
Space. The onions get cooked, right? So I can put them in the meat tray.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Because I don't want to have to use another bowl for them. We're just gonna cook them anyways, right? They can cross contaminate.
It's okay. We're eating it. We're getting cooked.
Okay. So there's like that desire for learning is a big one that keeps you engaged with the different hobbies. How about for kind of your career path?
Yeah. Career chemistry was just something that I picked up really easily in high school, and I realized it was like, oh, I like learning chemistry. I like learning about organic bonds. I like learning about formulas and all that stuff. It came super easy for me. And I would also like accredit that to my chemistry teacher. He made it really easy for me to like chemistry.
Gotcha.
So I was
teacher.
Like, yeah.
I hated chemistry. I was really bad at it.
It's okay. I hated biology.
Me too. I hated most sciences.
But yeah, I decided when I was going into college, I was like, yeah, chemistry, it's a good major. I mean, I'm going pre-med anyway, so I might as well just choose a science major. Like, most people will go for biology, but I'm just like, why would I go for biology when I can do chemistry and still go pre-med? And it'd be an easier pathway for me. Right. I'm going to have to take biology at some point anyways, but
I hear you.
It should be fine. So, yeah, chemistry major, and then COVID happened, and then, like I said, at that point.
You did the research work, right?
Yeah, I did the research work. I didn't pursue anesthesiology because I lost passion for it. But then I was like, you know what, it's fine. Did research work, found out I hate research. I like research during my undergrad, but not real life research. That was just so much more monotonous, but that was also because I couldn't choose my topic. It was a topic given to me. I'm a very free-spirited person when it comes to research. So yeah, IT. My brother does IT, and technology was always very easy for me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with that, it's just like, you know, it's a easy thing to do. Like, if something is easy to you, you're given the opportunity to go into that pathway and career-wise, you might as well try it out a little bit.
Yeah, and this is kind of that part of your 20s and also your early college career where you can just kind of explore different things and figure out what you actually want to do for a living, right? So sounds like your brother was a great foot in the door to get you in there and allow you that opportunity to explore things. So that's really cool.
So it was fun. I mean, I have a certification, like an IT certification. I have I have a background in like, you know, red team, purple team hacking now, the penetration testing, or pen testing is probably a more appropriate term. So yeah, doing all of that. I don't really do it anymore. I have the knowledge in my head.
Right.
In any case that like photography just is not like, you know, it just doesn't.
Yeah, you can always go.
I can always just go back into tech.
route.
Yeah, tech is super easy to kind of just like go back into.
Yeah.
You don't need like a traditional like 4-year degree to get into tech. Especially with cybersecurity or security in general, you just need certifications and like the willingness to learn. Put in the work. That's all.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then careers, just chemistry, IT.
And then you had the
my digital media. Well, UX UI and digital media, they fall hand in hand together. Originally, I was in a boot camp for UX UI design because I didn't want to do IT, but I wanted to stay in the creative tech field. But this was also when the craze when everyone was like, oh, UX UI design is like the future of the world. Like during COVID, post-COVID. So I went that route for a little bit. And then I realized that why would I do this boot camp that doesn't guarantee me a job when I can just go continue and get a master's in digital media, which encompasses UX UI design. But also, I am curious. It works with like the human psyche as well, and like it's like why does a person press on this button? Why does a person do this, do that? So it made a lot more sense for me to kind of just get that master's, and whatever I was like doing in my boot camp, like those credits transferred over. So it was really helpful in that sense.
And then between that, I think there was also a little bit of more formal professional work done with media stuff, right, for the real estate videography.
Yeah. So before starting up the master's again, or not again, but like starting up the master's after the boot camp, I did real estate photography and videography. Just trying it out, tried to see how I just wanted to learn like different fields of photography. I saw my friends doing it, and it looked interesting to me. So I was just like, you know what, why not?
Right.
So tried it out. I don't mind it. Just not my cup of tea when it came to the agency I was working with.
Right.
The I guess like I don't know demographic. Oh, demographic is the right word. The demographic of the clients I was working with was not as diverse as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And I was hoping, and I was like, I had voiced it. I was like, when we talked about this, and like when I came into your company, I was hoping to be more of a diverse community.
Yeah.
And all that stuff in like a diverse company. Albeit it was like a small team. It was like a 6-person team of us. But it was never. It was like a promise that was never fulfilled.
Right.
And I felt out of place in that company, so that was when I left. I wouldn't mind going back into real estate, videography, and photography. I still remember all the skills.
Yeah, but it's more about like the clientele that you are serving, and also like the team that you work with. Right? Yeah, which are, I think, extremely important to the fulfillment that you get in any sort of career, regardless of what it is or what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, and that was your most recent up until now, which is the focus on, you're still freelancing with
Mhm.
photography, right?
Yes.
Primarily focused on weddings. And then you are also in school for the graduate degree for digital media. How has this current state been for you just in the last, year of pursuing this and doing this? And also you're doing the social media management for the
Yeah,
restaurants that
yeah.
you're working with. So I think that also kind of plays into kind of it from the outside in, it looks synergistic to that digital media degree
Yeah.
because you are getting your
Getting my
a graduate
portfolio
degree,
and
and while also at the same you get that formal education, graduate school, while also at the same time getting that real world experience with the actual restaurants and the other
Yeah.
work, right? So was that where you strategically wanted to go career wise in the current day?
I was like, either I am able to, either I work with another agency for wedding photography, or I go and do, technically it's freelance social media marketing,
Right.
but just something so I can build my portfolio up. And yeah, luckily I was able to kind of get in contact with an old friend, and he was like, "Yeah, we could use someone like you."
Mhm.
And I just do it for them and like all their restaurants.
Yep. And how's that been going?
It's fun.
Yeah.
I took a little step back
Mhm.
because school's starting up again soon,
Yeah.
and also this summer there's been a lot of weddings.
Yeah.
So
So you gotta kind of shift your prioritization to your cell phone, self-run freelancing
Yeah.
business, right? Because
and he knew. Yeah, my
yeah.
boss knew. He was like, "Yeah, I understand. Like, you're I you're just here, and you're just learning." So like, he said I could do whatever I want technically. So
Right.
yeah, but it's so good. It's very fulfilling. I was able to build a few websites.
Nice.
Built, or I did a lot of graphic design for them. That was kind of crazy.
Oh, wow.
Rebuilt, like, designed a bunch of their menus, all this stuff. So yeah, I ran their social media for a little bit.
Nice.
Fun.
And would you say that the studies that you had during your grad degree was helpful?
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
It taught me a lot about how like user engagement and search engine optimization, like how that media jazz and media marketing jazz goes when it comes to like the digital world.
Yeah.
Definitely helped out with like user engagement for the company itself. He was very happy when he saw
Nice.
got more users. I was like, cool.
Nice.
My job has been done.
For sure.
Last trim.
And then growing up, you said that there was this expectation of, being more of the golden child in many attributes and ways, inclusive of school, which you said wasn't a huge deal to you. You said you like chemistry,
Yeah.
which is why you went into it initially. And was there any sort of, and your initial take was to go to pre-med, which did end up panning out. Was there any rationale to the pre-med? Did you feel like that expectation came internally, or was that influenced externally from your family in any way? Because I mean,
Yeah, no, you're
Asian
good.
parents, right? But at the same time, you remember you saying your grandparents weren't super strict on you
Yeah.
either. So I don't know if there was any sort of kind of external pressure there or conflict there, or if you truly were just ready to commit to pre-med, from just internal wish.
It was an internal wish.
Gotcha.
Well, let's just say I might have watched a little bit too much Grey's Anatomy.
Ah, wow. I love it.
And then I was like, this is great. This looks so cool.
Yeah.
And then I took an anatomy class in high school, and then I saw an open heart surgery.
Oh,
for
wow.
a field trip, and I was like, this is so cool. I want to do this. Like, confirmed in my head, and then next thing you know, boom, injury, boom, things happened.
Oh no.
And then like in the end of the day with pre-med, it was a surgery or bust, and I couldn't do surgery, so it was all bust.
So for your curiosity was definitely more catered towards that surgery side, right?
Yeah.
And if you couldn't pursue that, then then
I-
it was just like it's not worth it.
Yeah.
For something else, right?
I'd just rather go into a stable job.
Yeah.
or like my
Right.
next interest.
Right. And that's, I think that's something that it's tough to, because from what I remember you saying, that the shaky hands was definitely just a huge player in
Yeah.
you not being able to pursue that, and that can be kind of tough to swallow, but
Mhm.
you were able to fluidly pivot from that. Was there any resistance there when you had to pivot, or was it kind of easy for you?
I think it was more of like a resistance in my head. Like I was like, no, I can still do this, blah blah blah. Like I know I can make it out. Maybe I can like get surgery myself to like fix it. But now I was like, it's not worth it. Like
Do some Doctor Strange stuff.
yeah, not literally. Like some acupuncture stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Some herbal medicine out there could cure my shaky hands, but at that point I was just like, it's probably better for me to just go and switch to still doing something that I enjoy. Like I can always learn something new.
All right, how much do we care about deveining them?
I don't care.
All right, let's not do it. For the viewers out there who always devein the shrimp, I respect you.
I also respect you.
I don't care that you think it's gross that I'm gonna eat the non-deveined shrimp. I think it's gonna taste good either way.
Gotta get doused in fish sauce anyways.
So I think the plan here is I'm gonna get this pan hot, and we're moving on to the next phase. So that's another question done.
Mhm.
High five, good job. You've been great so far, Thomas. Hope I'm not grinding you too hard.
Oh
on
no, you're good.
all
Man.
of this.
You're good, man.
Um,
The days in it. It's another day.
Day in the life.
With you, another day.
Yeah, and Thomas and I, we poured out some twisted tea for this, so we're just enjoying a glass. We got the drinks from earlier. We're probably gonna enjoy that with our meal, and then we have some more drinks for ourselves later. So it's gonna be kind of a slow burn in
Yeah.
terms of alcoholic enjoyment.
Yep.
All right. So I think the plan here, I forgot to bring oil, but I think that's okay
Yeah, we have the meat.
because we have the meat. Meat's
Yeah.
got a lot of fattiness.
Fat. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the limes, do you want me to toss that out? Or
Yeah, I'll toss it.
Or I didn't know if we wanted to use them for something. I remember.
I thought you wanted to clean, if you need to clean anything like quick.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe you could just leave them on the side here. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll just like use them. I'll wipe it somewhere. It'll make it smell good.
Multi-purpose.
Indeed. I love limes, man.
They're so good.
Limes and lemons.
All right.
So what do you usually do when you have these? Do you eat like a handful at a time? Is that
Yeah.
the strap?
I like 4 or 5 at a time. I guess dry, but I always have like a drink in hand while I eat them. It's like a good like beer snack.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, truly just a hint of sweetness. There's like, I wouldn't even describe that as sweet.
It's just like
a tiny hint of
yeah.
it. You
It's
know?
like how like bread is naturally sweet.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah, I like it. This is the first time I had both of these.
Yeah, these get addicting pretty quickly. I used to eat these all the time as a kid. All right. So, we're cooking the meat now. Or we're waiting for the pan to heat up.
Yep. And then once the filling's cooked, we can. Oh, Ziggy, how much time on my timer? Ziggy, how much time on my timer? Ziggy, how much time on my timer? Ziggy, how much time on my timer?
You have 14 minutes left on your 1 hour.
About 15 minutes. Okay. Yeah. So I think by the time the filling's done, the batter will be rested.
Yeah.
So we'll be ready for that. And we probably want like a ladle, right, for that.
Yeah.
So let me go get us one of those.
It's we can use that. It's just half a cup.
Oh,
to the
okay.
pan each time.
That's perfect. So we just need like 2 scoops. Sounds good to me. Just put this over here.
Twisted tea is actually so much better with ice.
Oh yeah. You can't even taste the alcohol. It's pretty dangerous.
Dude, these days all I've been doing with twisted teas is just shotgunning them.
You can't enjoy them then.
Huh?
You can't enjoy them that
Dude,
way.
shotgunning those Twisted Teas is not for enjoyment. It's a challenge. It's like Ray, Christian, and I.
Mm-hmm.
Like whoever is at the volleyball thing.
True.
It's just like everyone just shotguns. Actually, wait, no.
These we wait until we
Until,
put the
like,
bun sale on
yeah.
them. So are you a huge fan of bean sprouts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eat them like chips, bro. Like fries. As a kid.
So impressed.
As a kid, like we would run out of snacks in the house, so I would just find bean sprouts and I just eat them.
How many do you put in your bun sale? A ton?
It was like a handful.
I'll probably like add a pinchful to mine.
Mm.
I usually eat all of my stuff without bean sprouts,
Mm.
but that's because I don't like the taste of them.
Mm.
I do think the texture is nice, so when I eat bun sale, I like the fresh veggies on the side, like the lettuce.
You put it in the...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Because I think the purpose of the bean sprouts is
It's
to
a
give
texture.
that textural difference, but
Mhm.
I don't like the taste of bean sprouts.
see,
I can
I see.
appreciate the crunch. I just
yeah, it's a little grainy.
yeah, it tastes a little like the earth.
Yeah.
It's not 100% a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just not not like what I like in my food.
I'm a giraffe, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'd be taking tomatoes by my hand and just eating like an apple.
Like an apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Add some salt on it. So good.
Tomatoes are delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Just turn the camera over.
All right. Pork, shrimp, and onions. So is the challenge like the drinking challenge? Is it like each in succession of each other? Like we have it's like
Yeah. Pretty much. Okay, so it will be. So you have an option. You want to do the challenge now, or after, before we make the bun sale, or after we make the bun sale?
Well, we have to
Make the meat, the filling, right?
Yeah.
The meat.
We don't want to leave the pan on it by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I say we make the bun sale, but
Yeah.
before we eat the bun sale,
We
we'll
do
do
the
the challenge, and then we'll be probably buzzed and hungry,
yeah.
and also kind of full because we'll have to
There's a
drink
bunch of liquid
3 beers. Okay.
Now let's do the challenge now.
Okay. All right. Here, let me turn the meat
Yeah.
heat to low then.
Let's do the challenge now.
All right. So
Are we
Here's-
doing a challenge on this BCam?
no, I'll bring it. I'll bring it just to grab the drinks here. So we got a 6-pack of Terra.
Oh wait,
Oh, we need the beer bong. Yeah.
you have the second one.
Oh yeah. They're over there. We'll use these two. The black.
Oh okay.
So
You got new ones?
I've always had these. These are the ones I've always had.
Yeah, I see. Oh, the pink one is someone else's, right? Or is
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. All right.
And let me get. Where's the tripod for this gimbal?
Tara, best beer out there. Don't question me.
So, as a part of this podcast, I'm implementing a challenge for every guest. And the challenge can be themed around one of the many aspects I've known or found out about them. In Thomas's case, Thomas and I have. Oh, I realize this BCam hasn't been recording this entire time.
Oh.
Funny. All right, well, now you get the view. Here's the Terra beer on the BCam. Anywho, Thomas and I have met each other through our college days, in which we both were quite fiendish of alcoholic activity. And we have raced each other over the years when it came to
So many
beers
times.
and beer vongen. So for the challenge today, we have a 6-pack of Terra, and all the two of us will have 3 beers each. It'll be a single person race to complete 3 beers, drinking in 3 different ways. So as you can see, I have the 1 Terra here. We'll be expected to beer bong 1 Terra. We'll be expected to shotgun 1 Terra, and we will be expected to chug from the can 1 Terra. The order does not matter, so you can choose the
Are we doing like 1v1 whoever, which one, like let's say I finish this beer bong first or you finish it, then you get a point.
So we're gonna just do time total across three.
Oh.
So that's the challenge, okay? So across three, and if you could get a timer started for me. And well, I'll have a timer on my phone as well. So we'll do like a little stopwatch here, and obviously we have that camera running to double check stuff. But it doesn't matter what order you drink it in.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to beer bong first or
Okay.
shotgun first, doesn't matter. What matters is you finish all three.
Yeah.
Okay? And then at the end, let me bring the other half of the challenge. So Chris said his spice tolerance is now higher than yours. And I wanted to test that out by adding in a little incentive with the peppers.
Mm-hmm.
So for the peppers, each pepper you eat will give you a deduction on
my timer.
on your timer.
Same goes to you.
Same goes to me. So I can also choose to eat the peppers. So we'll say the least spicy pepper is which one? What do you think?
Probably this one.
The red ones, and then I think the green ones are medium.
These ones are probably.
Yeah. So let me show you all the peppers. So we got the red ones are lowest level spice, so that'll deduct a second. The green ones will deduct 2 seconds, and then the orange one will deduct 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
So we'll get these set up here. Let me put the beer bong somewhere. Let's open these peppers up. You can come watch.
Oh, you can watch.
Yeah.
We're doing the challenge right now, and apparently my challenge is racing him and drinking.
We're doing a beer bong challenge. So for each pepper you eat, you can eat one from each category. And then all that matters is you're not allowed to drink any liquid
while I'm eating
for a minute after
okay.
eating it.
Okay.
Yeah. So the maximum number of seconds you can stack is 6 on a deduction.
Okay.
If you choose to eat all 3 peppers.
Okay.
If you drink water or any sort of liquid to cool yourself down before the 1 minute mark, then you don't get the thing. Ooh. It's a little moldy.
Oh no.
I don't know if it's worth it anymore.
Wash them? Actually, wait.
This one looks really fucked.
Yeah. Maybe not.
This is what we're dealing with here. Is it gonna focus? Okay, I don't know if it's focusing. Okay, well, maybe I will wash.
We can hold off.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna toss these. If mold's in one spot, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So maximum deduction is actually
1, 2.
1, 2. But I'll change it so that you can stack up to 2 of each.
Okay.
So you can do 2 seconds here, 4 seconds here. Yep. So it will still be 6, but you have to eat 2 full of these peppers.
What if I eat 3 of these? Can I do that?
For 6 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Sure.
Okay. All right. We will have food ready.
What time do you have? Do you have to go anyway?
Oh, we'll have food ready in like an hour, 30 minutes. Probably 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Yeah, just gotta cook the filling and the Benson comes out really quick.
We're still waiting for a little bit for that to settle.
Yeah, it's gonna be done in like 10 minutes. All right.
Intermission time right now.
Also, hello, podcast family. This is Nini. Well, now you are. Say hello.
Hop in.
Okay.
All right.
Are you ready?
What are you starting with? Or is that a secret? Oh, okay.
All right. This is good. No.
Who do you think is gonna win?
We gotta do a beer bong, a shotgun,
And a beer chug.
and a beer chug.
I think Kevin is faster at drinking that, but I'm gonna assume that Thomas is better at inhaling spicy stuff. So I believe that Thomas will clutch it out.
Damn.
Okay. Interesting. This is what happens when you lose your Your SO support.
No, it's spicy. It's spicier takes.
But wait, also, shotgunning, is it okay we just shotgun right here?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
wipe everything off after.
Okay.
Is there a foul if you shotgun like a 30 monster? Like you get
Sure, there is a spillage foul of plus 2 seconds
Okay.
per spill.
Okay.
All right,
Per spill.
per spill.
Okay.
Because you have 3 opportunities to spill.
Okay, hands off beer, right?
Yep,
Let me.
how many are you drinking? All of that?
all 3. Tastes more like shrimp.
Yeah, the egg.
Overpowering.
Yes,
I agree.
Taking away from the shrimp
I
flavor.
agree.
When I like the shrimp flavor a lot.
Yeah.
But
Me
this
too.
is very interesting though.
It has like a slight aftertaste of shrimp.
Okay. Ready?
Ready?
All right. Timer.
Timer. So we both press start on the table.
Wait, what if Nini's press to start for us?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Nini, left phone or right phone is Thomas, left phone is me. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hands off.
Count us off, Nini. Both hands on the beer bong.
When you say start is when we go. Hands
Okay.
off the beers.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, start.
Okay. Oh, I need to pee. I can't
Do
wait.
you want to pee first?
No. I gotta do this first.
Okay. Double hands on the beer bong.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Alright, Dustin's already?
Yup.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, start.
Oh.
Well, does that count as spillage? It's minor. I will accept it.
Oh, this is gonna be a horrible beer bong. This foam.
I think I angered Kevin. He's gotta do something.
Oh my god.
Oh, you supposed to start shotgunning with your food?
This hurts.
Oh.
You want to pee?
No. I don't need your key.
Kevin is throwing away his lead, but he's doing it in style.
Damn, he's gonna double whammy it.
Oh.
Ziggy, stop.
Whew.
Push that through. Thomas, this is not the time to be a little pump. You got this. Come on, Thomas. I bet on you.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh.
he gains 2 points anyway. 2 points. No, really? You want to stop Kevin? Oh, he gains another 2 seconds.
That's a whole ass beer.
That's another 6 seconds.
Oh. Oh my god.
Finish strong, Kevin. Finish strong and then add 6 seconds.
It's gone.
He needs more than that. He sprayed all over me.
No, those are 3, except for the clean spillage. Alright.
Man spat all over me.
Okay, dude. This is the real strat. I'm making him laugh so hard, it's equal to 6 seconds of laughing.
Wait, is it looking at or on my head? Wait, this is supposed to shotgun.
He did. I did. He did. The last one's a
No, once
beer
beer
chug.
chug.
Then Kevin did 2 beer
No,
No,
he
I
did
did-
one beer bong. He did a shotgun. He chugged the first one. He held the beer bong and let the foam rest. While the second beer, he was biting a hole in. Oh my god, yeah, no, I fucking forfeit, bro. Dude, I am. I'm not gonna be.
A 6.6-second hitting him and you're forfeiting? What is going on?
I'm already a minute past him.
Well, that's why I was trying to hide it.
No, but also, I mean, if I could eat unlimited peppers, yeah, maybe I could beat him. I could eat the whole tray.
That's impressive. No, he won't.
If I can get all the second deduction, I could probably eat that tray. I'm also very impressed.
I'm not. I fucking spilled shit everywhere.
I knew that you could drink it better than Thomas. I just thought that Thomas was gonna eat all the peppers.
No,
Well,
there's
the
a
maximum
limit.
cap on pepper reduction is 6.
Yeah,
How many peppers did you get off?
6 seconds. 6 seconds max. Damn, you got it on the camera, on the piano.
This is like not even half.
I know. No, it was really the beer bong that fucked me up. Because you saw me just sipping on that foam. It's okay.
Thomas, I can't tell if I got any on the lens. Can you check that?
Yeah.
I don't think I did.
No, you're good. You're good. All right, as you can see.
I won, but at what cost?
Absolute.
Shame.
Grace Caleb. Man. Different Grace. Or what?
Which Grace Kim?
From Maryland. Maryland Grace. She's.
All right, Nini. What were the end times?
Thomas never finished, so Thomas is.
What time did
It
Thomas
happened.
forfeit?
I forfeit at like 3:30.
Where was I at?
2:27.
Woo!
Seconds, so it's actually 2:33.
That's pretty good. 3 beer time.
God damn.
I'm buzzed now though.
Yo, give me Twisted Teas is a different story.
I asked you if you wanted to do the twisted tea for the challenge.
I know, but then I was standing there. I was like, nah. I haven't chugged beer in a long time.
Now you know why. We would not have to dealt with the carbonation. I think that's the reason why it came back up for me. I like coughed it out because the carbonation got stuck in my throat.
Yeah, no, Nini saw me in pain, just holding the table like this.
Yeah.
I halfway through the shotgun, I had to put the shotgun down.
All right, 2:27 and 3:30 at the forfeit mark. You saw it here, folks.
All right.
Oh, okay.
2:33.
2:33.
Still impressive.
At what cost?
Describe the pepper, Thomas. Does it tickle your throat?
Very fragrant.
Better than the peppers you grow at home, though.
No,
Yeah.
not all.
But impressed by store quality.
Yeah, actually,
Nice.
it does have a little kick to it. You want to try?
No.
Try a little bite.
No. I don't think my stomach can handle it right now.
How much is a little kick to you?
Like a 4.
All right, we're back on, so we're gonna go ahead, get the Banh sale started. This is where everything comes together.
You ready?
Indeed. So we got the filling ready. We got first batch coming in. You hear that sizzle?
There's a sale. Oh, actually, do you have a spatula? That was something we should probably prepped.
Nini, can you get us a spatula?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We can use the tongs for the filling, though.
Okay. Thumbnail, right?
Yep.
So thumbnail first. We hold the plate together or what?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like that. It's a good idea.
Let's load your plate up with some greens. Or should we keep the greens separate? I'm holding a plate of greens and you're holding the Banh sale.
Ooh. Yeah. That's a good move.
Put the Banh sale on the green. Like
All right, so Thomas and I
Because it's going to get contaminated.
have completed our Banh sale. We're gonna definitely need to do a second episode and redo the recipe. It's not the prettiest Banh sale, but we swear by the taste. It's gonna be good. Anywho, take a look. Take a looky. Thomas, bring it in. Oh.
It's okay.
All right. Is it in the frame? You might have to get closer. Hey. Let's get closer. Are we both in frame? I can't tell from here.
Yeah.
Is it focused?
I believe so. Is it recording?
Yes.
No, we're good.
No, we're good.
We're professionals.
All right. All right. So, Thomas, thank you for finishing up that cook with me. We're gonna
Yeah, of course.
look to round out this episode and talk a little bit about your future. Okay.
I'm gonna grab some forks.
All right. So we got the banseo. Thomas's
No, we don't show.
mildly deconstructed. We got our thing of fresh veggies here. Thomas, could you get me
I have your
calamansi? You get me my peach.
Thank you. Oh. Need help? Oh, I got it.
So Thomas, tell me about why banseo is your comfort food before we get close to eating here.
Oh, sure. So benseo was always, well, let's start off with this. In our family, inside the house, we never really like had like true family meals.
Mhm.
Like people kind of just ate on their own schedules, except for just Tin and I.
Yeah.
But whenever it was like benseo night, everyone would be at the table eating together.
So it was a lot of
So
fun.
it was a lot of fun. It was like one of the few times everyone kind of just sits together in our family and like eats
Mhm.
and just like converses as if we were like a regular family.
Right.
So yeah.
Nice. All right. So usually before I want to do any eating for this podcast, I'd like to just take a moment of gratitude, and the both of us just take just like a moment to quickly express any sort of gratitude for the day, the moment, or anything that you want in life right now. So
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and get started. Thomas, I'm very grateful that you're here with me today, and we've been doing this filming, and I got to spend the day with you. It's always another page for the books for me.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just love filling out that adventure story that we create together whenever we get to link up and meet up.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate that you've been able to land in my life, and I get to spend so much time with you. So I feel
Thank you
very
so much.
blessed.
Thank you so much. I'm thankful for one, you inviting me onto this podcast and just giving me the opportunity to speak my story and hopefully be able to help someone else out there. Just give me the platform to be able to talk to others. And not only that, but also I'm grateful that you wholeheartedly listen to not only my story, my point of view, but my friends' point of views when you interviewed them. And, you know, just as well as living in my life, we've had our fair share of, you know, adventures starting from when I first met you at Virginia Tech all the way to now, you know, went from drinking to drinking buddies.
For sure.
And yeah, now I'm your future groomsman, and you'll definitely be one of my future groomsmen. And yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right. Well, cheers to that. So, Thomas, how walk me through what do we usually do to eat with this? I think.
All right. So I'm gonna take this camera.
Yes.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna take
Do you know how to
the lettuce wrap.
Let me recenter it for you. Yes.
Take the lettuce wrap,
Uh-huh.
and usually we'll have some perilla leaves, but we weren't able to find any. But that's fine. You're gonna take a big piece of lettuce wrap.
I'll take a big one. This looks like
Yeah.
a big boy.
Throw some mint in and some of the Thai basil.
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't have to be Thai
this
basil.
is
But
mint.
Yep.
Okay.
And then some of the basil over there. And then just lay it on top of each other.
What is the ratio that you like for all of this? You like more mint, more basil?
I personally like more basil, but it doesn't matter.
Okay.
To each their own, right?
All right, so I'll add a little more basil.
Yeah, for sure.
That smells like mint though. Is this mint or is this basil?
That is basil.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
All right, I got 2 to 1
Yeah.
and the lettuce.
You're gonna grab. You're gonna just cut a little bit of the banseo, however much you want to put inside that wrap, however much you feel comfortable putting it in.
Okay, I'm gonna put this much in.
Yep, there you go. And then now you just wrap it up, kind of like a little spring roll
Uh-huh.
or taco, however you
Mm-hmm.
choose to wrap it up.
Yep.
Take it and then just dip it inside the nukjam.
Getting in there,
Yeah.
just dunk it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then take a big bite of it.
All right.
And get all of that nice meat and juices and everything. Look at him. Look at him showing off to the camera. Oh yeah.
Mmm.
How is it?
That's so good.
I think we have a pretty big like pork and shrimp ratio in each of our
Yo,
banseos. So
I love the meatiness that's in there, and then the freshness that comes from the outside wrap. The lettuce is just, it's so refreshing when everything else on the inside is just like really heavy, but this like savory goodness. And then the nukjam, it's fish sauce, so it's got that umami blast, but it also has freshness from lime, and it's got that like explosive flavor bomb that you get from all that garlic in there, and a little bit of a kick that just is the cherry on top for everything.
Yeah,
I love that. All right, it's time for you to make one.
me,
Mm-hmm.
busted ass one.
Mm-hmm. The deconstructed version.
So what I like to do, let's take a smaller one. I'll just grab like a handful usually. Let's go at it. Of this, I like to personally add like I'll like keep like a chili on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Throw however much I can just scoop on my fork. Put on top here. Get a little bit of the side meat because mine is fucking busted. Don't look at me.
We looking.
There we go. Chili in one hand, banse on the other. Dip.
Nice.
Delicious.
Delicious.
Mhm.
Nostalgic at all?
Very much so.
Nice.
I never eat banseo by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I always eat banseo with at least one other person.
Mm.
So yeah. This licking is so good. We did a banging ass job on this one.
You know, honestly, you can be lackluster on everything else, but as long as you nailed the dipping sauce, you're fine.
Unless you're not a saucy person,
Mhm.
then that's a different story.
Mm-hmm. All right, Thomas. So you finished your first bite. I'm gonna ask you a question, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first question is this segment, and as we're eating, we're talking about the future ambitions,
Yeah.
aspirations, goals in life, and yeah, that's the general vibe. The question is, what are your future ambitions with what you're looking to do in the next, 1 to 3 years here?
In terms of career, life, anything.
Yeah, just like any big bucketed milestone goals that you have in your head. Own a house, new career path, old
Yeah.
career path, or just expansion of what you're currently doing, stuff
Yeah,
like
for sure.
that.
I think eventually, I would love to be like a big time wedding photographer. Just like travel around, do this, do that. Just take wedding photos of people. I love doing that stuff.
Mhm.
Just like interacting with like newlywed couples and like going through that whole process. Always a really good time for me. I never get bored. I never get annoyed.
Mhm.
It's always been like a very, I don't know, very rewarding feeling. As the day goes on, I'll hit like that, 20% of the day is done, and it just feels really good for me. So, and with each wedding, it's a new couple, so it's like a new feeling every time. So I never get bored of it.
Right.
So if I can become like a big time wedding photographer, domestically, internationally would be cool.
Right.
That'd be awesome. I want to eventually like kind of go back to Vietnam for a little bit, and just spend some time there. Be it if I'm working there or not, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Maybe spend like a year, go visit my dad, go visit family, all that stuff. Yeah. damn, if I get good at volleyball, I'll just keep playing volleyball.
Yeah.
I'm on a pathway. I don't know if the pathway is right, but I'm on a pathway for volleyball.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, nice. So I remember in the info form that I used to prep for the show, you listed an aspiration is to be, I quote, a fucking farmer.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would
So-
love to be a farmer.
In Vietnam, does it encompass potentially doing any farming out there? Is farming just like a really long-term goal in the future? You want to just like have a farm, grow stuff,
Yeah.
after all the wedding stuff is complete?
Yeah, no. If I have enough money and I can buy my own like land here in America,
Mhm.
I'll buy like 20 acres.
Mhm.
No, that might be a lot. That might be a lot of fucking land. I'll just buy like some land,
Mhm.
start cultivating. Ideally, I would like to grow rice or coffee beans, but I'm not too sure if the climate here on the East Coast is correct for either or.
Yeah.
Vietnam is perfect, like North Vietnam, perfect for coffee beans, and then like in Central Vietnam, rice galore.
Mhm.
If I can go back there, do all that,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool too. But this is like really deep down the line. I'd say like within the next 5 years, I'd like to learn about it, like get more involved in the scene.
Right.
But maybe after like 30, 40 years, develop a little bit more of my future, or like do what I can do while I'm still young,
Mhm.
and do those things, and then I'll go into doing a farm. Because being on a farm and working on a farm and like maintaining a farm is like super physically strenuous, but at the same time I feel like I can do it while I'm still old.
Right.
My bones are kind of fucked up, but
Mhm.
my knees are fucked up, my ankles are fucked up, but I can still do it.
Yeah.
If I can play volleyball now, I can still do it later.
Yeah. So you'd grow some crops on the farm. Would you keep any animals though?
I keep chickens.
Okay.
Eggs are a hot commodity right now. If
Oh,
I can get some
indeed.
chickens, I can make
Yeah.
some fucking money, man.
I hear you.
Nowadays, like back during COVID, TPing someone's house is an investment. But now, egging someone's house is a huge investment.
Oh, for sure.
So if I can get some chickens, get some eggs on me,
Mhm.
ooh.
I hear you. So I think another thing that you listed in that form was to be able to create something
Mhm.
that you are really proud of. Do you
Yeah.
think that the creative wedding photography stuff, that aspiration of yours for being big time, do you think that plays into that at all, or are you looking for something more external to that that's potentially more personal to you?
I think both of those go hand in hand with
Mhm.
what you said. Doing weddings and like getting that one perfect moment for each couple and all that definitely plays a role in how I am changing my vision and what I want to be able to create in order to make that difference in like people's lives, or just like something I'm super proud of.
Mhm.
The one thing I want to create for the audience is I want to be able to take one picture that can essentially just change people's viewpoints, or just like one, make me proud and make other people proud when they see it, or like just change their feelings, like make them feel something,
Right.
So be it like a wedding photo or something, like it's always been changing. Like last month, it was just like a landscape photo, right? Like someone looks at the landscape and they're like, "Holy shit!" Maybe next month I'll like really look into how like the northern lights might be disappearing soon.
Right.
As one of the wonders of the world, it's gonna be leaving us in the next 10, 20 years, maybe, with how how nature is changing, how the world's changing. So maybe that might be my one picture. Maybe I'll like see if there is a couple who wants to like get that one like proposal photo under the northern lights, and it's like the last time the northern lights were there.
Right.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty life changing, because then everyone else in the future who looks back, they're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this is technically the last northern lights picture in Alaska
Mhm.
ever taken as like a proposal photo.
Right. So it's kind of, as you hone your craft, and with each picture, you're always looking for a picture that you can capture that really inspires or influences someone in a way that really moves them
Yeah, for sure.
emotionally, and can potentially sway them into
Yeah.
feeling certain ways, and just has that lasting impression. Gotcha.
And also, I mean, like, it's future aspirations, right? So like it could always just change to like, I don't know, maybe I just want my rice grain to fucking change someone's life, like in anime or something.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Like give someone like a +10 strength when they eat it.
Yeah. That'd be a pretty good buff. I'd buy that rice
Yeah.
for sure. All right, so I think I have two last questions for you.
Mhm.
The next one, and I think it also plays into one of the aspirations that you listed, was being able to, break bad habits. And I think it's under a theme I've noticed is just self-improvement, self-awareness, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the question is centered around like, what do you think your current training arc right now is in terms of just life overall? Like what would you say that the one thing that you're currently feeling like this is your training arc, and you're going to come out of it stronger? How would you define that right now? And where do you look into future state on once you overcome it, how you're going to be like?
Yeah. I think it's like just besides like the overall self improvement, like you do this and that just to like improve your life overall and like get your trajectory back on track to like what I wouldn't say what society thinks is normal, but like what you think is good for you
Mm-hmm.
in your head. But I think how like my training arc era right now is more of just getting on a regular schedule again.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to like I play a lot of volleyball now.
Yeah.
Definitely helps me with my schedules and everything. Like I know that I'm gonna be playing volleyball on what Sundays and Tuesdays, and then like I'll sprinkle in like Mondays and like other things. But it really helps me be able to like see my future week, month, like
Mhm.
track all of that, and then also just being able to or like just getting myself on like a regular work schedule,
Yeah.
like work rotation, all that stuff, be it at home or like at actual work and all that.
Yeah.
Being able to like visualize it
Mm-hmm.
really helps me get not only like my own day back on like back on track, but I think eventually in the future get my whole life mindset back on track to
Mhm.
where I wanted to, where I will be thriving. Like right now, I feel like I am, on a definitely an upward trend compared to the past.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to hit that exponential growth and just keep going on the exponential growth
Mhm.
and never let it stop, right? Until I'm content.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, and gradual. Like I'm not on the grind anymore, but right now I'm on that grind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you think that being able to find your flow and that
Yeah.
consistency will really help
Mhm.
you build towards that kind of like 10x exponential improvement
Yeah,
that you're
for
looking
sure.
for in the
Yeah.
future. Okay.
It's hitting there. It's heading there. Like
Yeah.
the multiplier maybe like a few months ago was like at like a 2 times. Right
Mhm.
now it's sitting at like 3, 4 times.
Nice.
It's nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. And the last question I have is, what is a lesson or message that you'd really like to share to the world?
Oh. Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
There's so many. Let's see. Do I go for a cliche one? A niche one?
one that speaks one that speaks from your heart, the one that you feel like has influenced you the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to face the mistakes you have made in the past. Be afraid of the type of person you're going to be if you don't change those mistakes. You have an infinite amount of time. You have a almost infinite amount of time to learn, change yourself, and go at your own pace. There will always be people, things, and just nature to be able to be there for you and help you through the whole process. And don't be afraid to kind of just reach out to those aspects around you, because if you're gonna choose to stay in the world of mistakes and your own mindset of these mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
you're never gonna be able to learn and grow out of it.
Yeah.
Or well, you won't learn and grow out of it at the pace that you would want to, and then you're gonna start doubting yourself again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying doubt is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Doubt is what allows you to grow or like recognize your growth stages.
Mm-hmm.
But remember that at some point you're going to have to face those doubts and challenge those doubts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not not necessarily being, because like when those doubts creep in, they're kind of scary, right?
Yeah,
And you're
for sure.
saying like it's they're
take it in.
take it in.
Process
You know, those it's lean into those because like your initial reaction is to like back away because you're scared of what they mean or how they define you, but you're saying that being able to lean into it and just understand what they mean and like not allowing those doubts to define you
Yeah.
and being able to grow for them and also acknowledge them and reaching out for support around you
Yeah.
when possible to help you through supporting yourself
Yeah.
through taking in those doubts because
Yeah.
taking that in is very scary.
Yeah,
you know,
For sure. Don't let the demon take over. Become friends with the demon and then fight the demon.
I hear you. Okay, awesome. Well, before we wrap up here and get to finish eating this, I got a little surprise for you. So I'm gonna bring out the surprise.
I didn't hear about this. Y'all heard it from me first. If he hands me a bottle of something, I'm scared. Tonight might not go the way we think it might go.
So this is something I know you've introduced me to.
Not the brown bag.
It's a little gift I have that we could enjoy together potentially. You know, if you don't get to it first, but here's a card for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Appreciate you being on my show, and here's the drink you first introduced me to.
Yeah.
We got you a nice bottle of Casamigos.
Here, I'll show the camera. Some Casamigos.
Some Casamigos.
Here's the card. It has a little smiley face in the O.
Yeah,
It's
so you
great.
can read that later. But yeah, I appreciate you being on the show, man. Let's go ahead and
let's
finish
take a
up.
shot.
We can take
Let's
a
take a
shot
shot.
now. Let me find a shot glass. It's I conveniently have those.
It's a great bottle. It's delicious. It's yummy. You know. I don't know how I started drinking this, but I did. And then I think I brought it to your house, right?
I think there was a night we had at Lulu's where we drank like
Oh yeah, we just kept
a
drinking.
couple $100 worth of Migos. We should have just bought our own bottle.
Younger pours.
Also, like this Chi Forest sparkling water was pretty decent. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, this calamansi one's good too. The calamansi flavor is a little light,
Yeah.
lighter than I thought it would be, but it is a 0 sugar, 0 calorie, 0 fat drink. So it's not like there's no like calamansi pulp or anything.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
so good for what it is. All right.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers. Smooth.
The camera totally saw me sandwiching Casamigos. And I should not have chased the Casamigos. It was not classy.
No, it's okay. Drink it how you'd like.
All right. Well, awesome. And that was Thomas. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today in the Comfort Food Podcast. We're going to go ahead, finish eating, and I will wrap us up in our cleanup section and summarize today's episode.
Bye.
Good morning, everyone. So last night Thomas left. I was pretty tired from the production, so went ahead and let things sit overnight before cleaning it. So I'm cleaning everything right now, and we'll go ahead and wrap up here for the final bit of the podcast. So in today's episode, we managed to sit down with one of my very close friends and just learn about his story. Thomas is this really genuine, good-hearted dude. I love the dude, and I just think he has a really fun story in the sense that he came here he was born here, then kind of grew up a little bit in Vietnam, and then came back here to grow up while also going back there every summer. And all at the same time, his family dynamic was just pretty interesting due to having half siblings, having to take care of his brother, and also not having his main parents be in his life in a more traditional sense and being raised by his grandparents, which is a common thing, but his grandparents were more hands off, so he definitely really relied on the people around him and his friend group to just understand and navigate the world. And I'm really glad he landed with a good group of people. I actually was able to shoot video for when he was a groomsman for one of the friends in his friend group who recently got married, and I can definitely attest that his entire friend group, they're just this really tight knit, good group of lads who are just really tight in their history and their the intimate knowledge they have of who they are, and the and each and every one of them are definitely a pillar for each other. So it was just really nice and heartwarming to see. They definitely goofed around. They were called the Neighborhood Goons, and just but at the same time they kept each other in check and support each other as they grew up. And I think Thomas is this. He's really creative. He has explored so many sides, so many different career paths so far. So he's got the creative photography. He tried the pre med, and then he also did the IT route. And he's still figuring stuff out. Long term goal, he wants to do the creative stuff. And him being the only one in his family that's amongst all the children, all the brothers, to want to do the creative route, I think is really cool. And it's interesting because his parents pursued the creative route, but all the children didn't do the creative route. So that that seems a little flip flop from what I tend to see with with American immigrant families and their children. Usually, there's a look towards stability or stable careers, which tend to lie more in technology or the medical field. So, hope you all enjoyed Thomas's story. I'm sure he's happy if anyone wants to reach out and ask him any follow up questions or engage with him. And in the comments below, if you made it this far, go ahead and let me know what you'd like me to ask the next guest. I really appreciate everyone who's made it this far and is watching this video podcast. I definitely learned a lot from recording today's or yesterday's episode and have more ideas to incorporate in the future. So I'm really excited for the next one. I have another close friend of mine coming on, and she is a very wonderful human being that I've known since I started college. We met each other our freshman year. So really stoked, looking forward to that, and I hope today's comfort food episode was fun and enjoyable for everyone. I'll see y'all next time.